Welcome back to episode 218 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. My name is Josh. Of course, I'm here with Troy. I'm here with Phil. I'm here with Baba Louie.
It's America's dynamic-ish duo. A slightly unstable Canadian and a producer doing creepy things in the background. A Gongshow Super Show.
Somebody's got to say something.
Something.
That's awesome.
Once again, blew the show budget on radio voiceovers for the week, I guess. I don't know. Well, happy Labor Day or Labour Day, as you guys say in Canada. You guys put that extra U in everything, it seems like. We just do LABOR. But yeah, Labor Day weekend here. We have to start with Phil because apparently he's coming to us from a Tim Hortons drive-through right now. Phil, explain yourself, please.
I had an invitation to come to a cottage with a lady friend of mine, and I declined. And then I had a really poor week, so I decided to re-accept the invitation on Thursday. And here I am with 2 pairs of underwears in 5 days. Don't ask me how I solved that problem. But yes, on Labor Day weekend, I'm very far. I'm at Golden Lake in Ontario.
Nice. So yeah. Troy, I say Oregon, and you stop the show, and Phil says cottage, and you decided to breeze right by.
I was going to wait till the end, and then I was going to go for our American viewers and listeners. Cottage equals cabin.
Yeah. Well, I love your commitment to the bit, Phil. Appreciate you joining the show. Excited to have you on because, of course, it's a big one. Anything going on in your household, Troy, this fine Labor Day weekend?
No, it's actually pretty quiet. I had a kind of exciting day 2 days ago or yesterday. I can't remember when it was, but I'll talk about that in personal pickups.
All right. Baba Louie, what's happening?
Hey, I'm making your trip to Toronto a lot safer again. First, we did the brakes. Yep. Now we got new shoes on the vehicle. So you should be happy now.
Nice. Yeah, we go in style, and Baba Louie's got a really nice Sequoia. Very comfy. I think we told the story before. We get about 45 minutes into the journey last time, and he looks at me and says, "Oh, dang, I knew I should have gotten the brakes done before we left."
Oh, dang, I wish my wife didn't cut the brake line. Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, that was great, but we made it safe and sound, so we're going to be lugging a lot of stuff at this time, so I'm glad that we're going to have new tires and brakes. I had my whole family in town this weekend. We moved my 96-year-old grandmother into a new place, had a little birthday party for her yesterday because it was her birthday, and then the whole family this morning went down to the campus of the University of Minnesota, where the boat, Skyuma, go Gophers, and we took my son out to lunch. We went to this pub right in Dinkytown, so that's on the University of Minnesota campus, little kind of shopping area.
Sally's?
No, I went to Blarney's. It's an Irish pub.
Yeah.
We walk in there, and now, mind you, it's my mom, my stepdad, my brother, his wife, and we also have 6 little kids with us, 10 and under.
Ugh.
The floor was so sticky from the night before at the college bar, where the pub where we would eat lunch, that literally you could barely pick your feet up. And these kids are like, "Why is the floor so sticky?" And we're like,
well, they put their hands on it and they're touching themselves.
Yeah. So
look, a peanut.
life at a college campus at a college bar. It was good to see the kid though. Got him fed, took him to Target.
Him? He wasn't missing or anything?
No. And they built the Target right on campus now too.
Oh, really?
So we could take him and get all his stuff, and
nice.
Just got back, of course, ready for the show. We have a mega show. I always feel like Conan O'Brien. When I would watch his show, he would start every time after the monologue and say, "We have a great show for you tonight." And it's like, yeah, we say that every night. I feel like I always say we have a big show. Is this our biggest outline ever, Troy? Has to be.
I think so.
It is a monster. So we're going to get right to it. Before we do, though, got to make a very quick reminder that the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a Patreon podcast. What does that mean? Well, it means that we rely on support of listeners and watchers like yourself to help us cover our show expenses, continue to produce more and what we hope is better hockey card content, and then fund initiatives, even in a small way, to grow the hockey hobby. It's very easy to support us. You can do it via Patreon. It costs as little as $5 a month. In addition to supporting the show, you also get exclusive access to our Gongshow Discord server and can join the community there. It's been awesome lately. It just keeps getting better and better. Can't believe it. So blessed with that. To do it, all you got to do is go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, and click on the Become a Patron link at the top of the page. If you want, you can go to the Patreon website directly, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gongshow. There's a link in the show description. If you're listening to us on a podcast app or watching us on YouTube, there's a link in the description there. And then finally, in our Instagram and TikTok profiles, we have a link to our Patreon there as well. We have 2 new supporters and members of our Discord server since our last show, Punk Rock Cards and Sea Monster Combo.
Nice.
Joined our $199. Thank you guys. We greatly appreciate your support. It means the world to us. It helps us keep this train wreck going. So we love it. All right, Troy, you ready with the game plan?
On today's show, we begin with the almost greatest NHL player to wear number 18. Then it's time for another Hobby Mount Rushmore, and this time we look at the Detroit Red Wings. Next is Hobby News, followed by a look at how to pick the right Wayne Gretzky auto. Josh, how long has that segment been in the works?
About 4 months.
I know you've been working on it for a while. Then we have new product releases. We end the show with our Gongshow Mailbag and any personal pickups. Okay. Previously, we looked at the greatest NHL player that wore the number that matched our episode number. We ran through all the numbers. So we are now looking at the almost greatest NHL player to wear each number from the runners-up and the Hockey Writers' greatest NHL player to wear each number article. The almost greatest NHL player to wear number 18 per the nominees and the Hockey Writers' greatest NHL player to wear each number article, and selected by me is this guy. Hold on if I get the picture up. Serge Savard.
Nice.
I knew nothing about him, or very little, and he is like one of the all-time greats. So I felt embarrassed, but I learned a lot. However, every time I think of Serge, tell me I'm an idiot. I think of this guy.
Oh,
from Beverly Hills Cop.
That's Bronson Pinchot.
It's Bronson Pinchot, but he's like, Serge, Sag. It's just like one of those things. I always think of that.
What was the sitcom he was on? Perfect Strangers.
Perfect Strangers. Yeah.
They kind of look the same. Look at him. He got the black hair, and look at that. I don't know. It might be him. I don't know.
Hey, Phil, was Belky Bartakamus, was that a Greek character in Perfect Strangers?
Yeah. Yeah. He was from Mypos. Mypos.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he always said. Back home at Mypos. That was good.
Awesome. Oh, that's good. I'm glad we got that in there. All right. The other runners up at number 18 were Dave Taylor and Ed Westfall. As a reminder, the greatest to wear number 18 was Dennis Savard. Now, Dennis Savard and Serge Savard, from what I can find, all I can find is that they might be very distantly related. So where you have to basically go down so many levels of a tree before you can find some relation to them. So basically, a lot of people just said they're unrelated, but whatever. I don't want to go through the family tree of them, but I don't think they're really related. Okay. Our boy Serge Savard, defenseman from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Or I found some sources that say he is from, Phil, I need your help, Landrian, Quebec, Canada. Does that sound familiar?
No, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah,
Landrian.
So I apologize. I found 2 different sources where he was from. Savard played minor league hockey with the Montreal Junior Canadiens, then with the Omaha Knights. After playing with the Montreal Junior Canadiens, he started playing with the Montreal Canadiens in 1966. Savard played in 1,040 regular season NHL games over a 17-season NHL career. Savard played his first 15 seasons in the NHL with the Montreal Canadiens. He would finish his career with 2 seasons with the Winnipeg Jets. For his awards and accomplishments, Hall of Famer, 7-time Stanley Cup winner as a player, 1-time Conn Smythe, 1-time Masterton, 1-time NHL second team All-Star, 4-time NHL All-Star Game selection, named to the NHL's greatest NHL players to play in 2017 by NHL.com. His number 18 is retired by Montreal. For his career, 106 goals, 333 assists for 439 points. Savard made the playoffs in 14 of his 17 NHL seasons, compiling 19 goals, 49 assists, for 68 points in 130 NHL playoff games played. Best regular season of Savard's NHL career from a point standpoint was his 74-75 season, where he had 20 goals, 40 assists for 60 points in 80 games played with the Montreal Canadiens.
Are those sideburns? Those are close to mutton chops, aren't they?
Oh, those are sweet mutton chops. Those are just, he looks fantastic. My favorite part of this picture, if you're watching on YouTube, the skate blades.
Yeah.
Like there's no tucks. That's just metal poles on the ice. I just love that. And then the Canadian
My dad taught me how to skate when those were his skates. He refused to buy any new skates.
That's awesome.
All my memories of my father skating have those skates. Sorry, so quick, Troy. My dad was a huge Habs fan. Are you going to get into his GM stuff? Because Serge Savard was a GM, right?
Yeah, I mentioned it. I mentioned it a little bit, but jump in when I get there if there's anything else you want to add.
Well,
right.
Okay, I'll jump in.
Okay. All right. Serge Savard was a big, tough, shutdown defenseman. This is a testament to how Savard had to drastically change his game due to a series of devastating injuries. Once a rising star as a rushing defenseman, he became a top-notch stay-at-home type, willing to let others go on the attack while he remained behind to halt counterattacks with his long reach, angling forwards away from the goal, blocking shots, and starting the transition to offense. And every once in a while, Savard could still jump into the rush. Bobby Clark called Savard the best defenseman he has ever played against. And he also said he had amazing hockey IQ. But at this point, everyone does. I'm done with hockey IQ because they all have it.
Yeah.
Okay, our boy. After retiring as a player, Savard was named the GM of the Canadiens. He would go on to win 2 more Stanley Cups as the GM of the Canadiens in 1986 and 93. Since 1993, Savard has been a partner in a firm of real estate developers, Thibault, Messier, Savard, and Associates. Now, I have no clue if that's like Jocelyn Thibault and Mark Messier or what, but it's based in Montreal. Savard was part owner in a resort called El Senador, located in Cayo, Coco, Cuba, until it was sold in 2005. Savard has also co-owned many successful racehorses and was a longtime fan of harness racing. Okay, Phil, is there anything you want to add about him as a GM?
Well, I'm confused because my father really didn't like him, and he said he ruined the Canadians, and then 2 years later, we won the Cup in '93. So I don't know if he had some controversial trades or picks or something. Yeah, I thought maybe it was, I guess not, right? I don't know. He was very unliked as a GM, but I never understood that because he won 2 cups.
Yeah, see, I read his, like, I probably read the stuff that's a little, like, his NHL 100 profile at Wikipedia. I'll try to find some other stuff. Maybe they probably are all high praise and didn't get into any of the bad stuff or what was going on there. So I'm sure someone will write in and let us know. Or yeah, that'd be fantastic. I like hearing different aspects of people's career. Okay, for fun, interesting facts for Serge Savard, nickname was the Senator, and this was from his NHL Top 100 player profile. A nickname reflective of his cool, unflappable control of the game on the ice and his respected presence in the dressing room among one of the greatest collections of hockey talent ever assembled, the Montreal Canadiens of the 1970s. He could be quietly diplomatic or I can't say this word.
Clandestinely
mischievous prankster. But regardless of his manners, Serge Savard was, above all else, the consummate team player. So there you go. Savard was a member of the Big Three with Larry Robinson and Guy Lapointe, known as one of the greatest defensive cores in NHL history.
Hold on. I know I'm not a genius, but don't 2 defensemen play at the same time?
Oh, yeah, just saying, like the whole core. Add in the other guys, but these were the top 3 guys.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
No, I get it. I probably wrote that weird. Savard was the first defenseman to win the Conn Smythe Award as playoff MVP in the 1969 playoffs. And for those who want to know, Bobby Orr won it the next year. Remember those injuries I briefly mentioned that caused Savard to change his style? Well, here's kind of what happened to him, and this is not good. In March 1970, his left leg shattered when he crashed into a goalpost, requiring 3 surgeries in a week and insertion of pins. Without him, the Canadiens missed the playoff for the first time in 22 years. 1971, he needed a bone graft when the pins became dislodged and he rebroke the leg. A year later, he cut his right leg kicking out glass to save guests in a St. Louis hotel fire. Then he injured his ankle at practice with Canada in September of 1972. Sports Illustrated called him hockey's unluckiest player. It's like, wow, what else? What else could go wrong in the span of 2 years? All right. In 1994, Savard was made an officer of the Order of Canada. And in 2004, he was made a Knight of the National Order of Quebec. Bill, what is your National Order of Quebec? Oh, you're not in Quebec. You're in Ontario, but
it's still a big deal. That's pretty crazy, man. He's very accomplished. Holy crap.
Yeah, he's seems like he's got a lot going on. He's still alive too, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Canada has many very prestigious sounding sort of like awards and nominations you get because we read these. We don't have anything like that here in the U.S.
Yeah,
you pulled away from the monarchy quicker, and you know we still have a governor general, and we like to celebrate mediocrity. Not that Serge Savard is mediocre, but it's we like to give a lot of participation awards.
Queen Elizabeth's still on your money, right? Aren't they like the Queen's still?
Yeah, she's still. Yeah, they're still on the back, but we're not part of the monarchy. But
yeah.
Do you guys have dukes? Because I want to be a duke. How do I make that
like this?
No, I want to be
the
like
Duke of York, or the
a Duke, like Paul Atreides. Yeah, like a Duke. No, we don't have Dukes.
I want to be the Duke of. Oh, I want to be the Duke of Gongshire. How do I make that happen?
As long as I can be Sir Philip.
Sir Philip.
Yeah, Sir Philip.
Brave Sir Robin ran away.
You're more of a stable boy, but we'll work on that.
I'm skilled in the arts of war and military tactics.
Oh my God. When are we going to do a Monty Python episode? Never mind. Okay. All right. We're going to go with rookie cards. Serge Savard, 1969 OPG number 4. It's on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. PSA 10 pop count is 2 with a gem rate of 0.8%. However, even with that low pop count, we do have a sale of the PSA 10. It's sold on February 23rd of 2023 via the Fanatics Vault for $19,000 US.
Whoa.
So to give a little more context around this card, a PSA 7 sold via eBay and verified in Terapeak on April 12th of this year for $660 US.
That's still a lot for a PSA 7.
Yeah, but I mean, I actually, the bad thing, I should have saw how many PSA 7s were out there. But I mean, 2 PSA 10s, that 19,000 is pretty healthy.
Well, that was awesome. I've obviously heard the name Serge Savard.
Yep.
It's a cool name. I'd like that name, but didn't know anything about him, just like you. This is, again, another one of those players. And who is the guy we were mentioning last week with this? Oh, like Tim Horton. Until you really, like in America, these are names that you know nothing about. And I assume he's fairly or more known in Canada than he is
goodness.
here.
Serge Savard is very well known, but I don't have good memories from the name. And Troy just rifled off like incredible accomplishments. It's probably from my father, right? He said so many bad things about him when I was like 8 to 13, and it stays with me. But I don't know. If someone out there knows something weird happened, let us know.
Yeah.
All right. Ready to move on?
Ready.
Okay. It's time to continue our series where we've been nominating each NHL team for our Gongshow Hobby Mount Rushmore. If you have your card engraved on the respective team's Mount Rushmore, you must have an epic and legendary career and also significant hobby chase. And we know through, 2.5 years doing the show, there are many all-time greats whose hobby markets really aren't so great.
Yeah.
So it's a tall order. We're brave. We're so brave here to tackle this, what I will call a Herculean task, especially teams like with the Detroit Red Wings. So I'm sure like in the pantheon of bravery, it goes soldiers, firemen, police officers, and then hockey card podcasters. Probably not in that order, but I think that's the list. Well, we've been knocking out teams in the Atlantic Division so far. We've nominated the Hobby Mount Rushmore for the Montreal Canadiens, which was super easy. Florida Panthers, Ottawa Senators, Buffalo Sabres, and now we're on to our 5th team, the Detroit Red Wings, right, of Detroit, Michigan. So are you ready, guys?
Let's go.
We already gave away 2 of them last show, so here we go.
Yeah. All right, Phil. Say a quick internet commenter prayer for us, if you will, because I'm sure it'll get ugly tomorrow on the show.
Well, this is hard. This is going to be tough. So let's go. Let's get her done.
Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm scared. The first nomination to the Detroit Red Wings Hobby Mount Rushmore is Troy. Can you give a drum roll, please? Thank you very much. Gordie Howe. Who's shocked? I don't think anyone. Not only is he a no-brainer for the Red Wings Hobby Mount Rushmore, he's pretty much a no-brainer probably for the NHL Mount Rushmore. Howe played 25 seasons with the Wings. Then he played another 4 professional seasons after leaving the team. He's the all-time franchise leader in games played with 1,687, which is also an NHL all-time record for most regular season games played with a single team. With the Red Wings, he had 786 goals, 1,809 points. Just a 6-time Art Ross Trophy winner with Detroit, 6-time Hart Trophy winner, 4-time Stanley Cup champion with the Red Wings, 23 total All-Star Game appearances is the most all-time. 22 of those were with the Red Wings. Howe's number 9 is retired by the Wings. Plus, when your nickname is Mr. Hockey, I think you're pretty good at that point. So is there anyone here that wants to lose all of their hobby credibility and say why Gordie Howe does not deserve to be on the Red Wings Hobby Mount Rushmore?
I'm good.
Nope. I agree.
Yeah. Howe, of course, is a pretty big chase in the hobby, too. 5,690 Gordie Howe cards have sold in the secondary markets year to date per card letter sales history. That includes 134 sales of more than $1,000 this year alone. The highest selling Gordie Howe card all time is this 1951 Parkhurst PSA 8.5 that sold for only $205,000 via Golden in May of 2021. There you go.
So I got a question.
Okay.
Do you think like all 51 Parkhurst are found, right? We don't think there's like that guy that found the 52 Tops baseball case. Like we don't think one of those is floating around. I've always wondered that if all of them are out there because it's crazy.
Look how much smaller they are. They're hiding. They can hide way better. So if there's any hockey card to be found, it's a 51 Parky.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know. That's a really good question. Okay, ready to move on?
Let's do it.
The other easy one for the Red Wings Mount Rushmore is the captain, Steve Yzerman.
Yeah. So
now we have Mr. Hockey and the captain. Maybe the 2 best nickname combos there is. I don't know.
Pretty good.
Yzerman played all 22 of his NHL seasons in Detroit, spent nearly 1,300 consecutive games or 20 years as the Wings captain. Hence the nickname, Phil. Get it, the captain?
Captain.
Okay. We don't need to whiteboard it out for you or anything like that. You good?
No, I love Stevie Y, man. He's the captain of Ottawa. He's from Ottawa.
Yeah. Stevie Y is first all-time in franchise assists with 1,063. Second all-time in points with 1,755. Third all-time in games played, 1,514. 3-time Stanley Cup winner in Detroit. Conn Smythe winner in 1998. Lester Patrick, Masterton, Selke, and Pearson Award winners. Number 19 is retired by the franchise, and of course, he's in the Hall of Fame. So we'll take a quick look at Yzerman's hobby market. 8,872 Steve Yzerman cards have sold in the secondary market so far in 2024. 35 of those sales have been for more than $1,000 US. The highest selling Steve Yzerman card of all time is this 1984-85 OPG rookie BGS 10 Pristine, sold for $8,200 US via REA in April of 2022. What I think is interesting is this is probably a sheet cut card. Do you know why?
Oh yeah, it's OPG and it's got perfect corners and edges.
And the surface is a 9.5.
Yeah.
Right. And so it was when they were sheet cut, they were typically rolled up for a long time. And that the rolling and unrolling process was a little bit abrasive to the surface. And so it's not a guarantee, of course, but it's a clearly strong cue or indicator that these would have been sheet cut.
Hmm.
So then that's
So
like that's like a collector preference thing, right? So some people would want more of that OPG rough cut and like a PSA 10 because PSA doesn't grade sheet cut cards, or the kind of sheet cut version you get with a lot of times with Beckett. What were we gonna say, Phil?
I have a sheet cut of the Young Guns if Brady's here. Let's say I wanted to go cut that and make a perfect PSA 10. I'm not using scissors to do that. So who cut this Iserman? We find these sheet cut cards that are graded perfect 10s, I don't know how you cut pieces of paper with scissors, but I'm not doing it. Do you give it to a printer and they have the right machine to feed it and cut it perfect?
Maybe. Or do you remember those like paper cutters that we had in school growing
Yeah.
up? No. The lever that went down.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
They're almost like a guillotine.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd
that.
still be nervous. I'd be nervous doing that, man. I don't know. It's crazy.
Okay, so I think a pretty easy call to put Iserman on the Wings Hobby Mount Rushmore. You guys both agree with that?
Yeah,
2 for
absolutely.
2 so far.
Yeah.
Okay, so now after Iserman, it gets really tough. I'm going to be honest. Figuring out the 2 remaining Wings for the Hobby Mount Rushmore. Again, keyword being hobby here. We have to give hobby, market, and chase, of course, equal standing to each player's resume. And fortunately for the Red Wings, and unfortunately for this exercise, there's a whole host of legendary players that you could make a claim for the final 2 spots. So I spent a long time slicing, dicing their resumes and comparing their respective hobby standing, and basically had 5 players that I think you can make an argument for the final 2 spots. So I'm just going to go through the 5 before we get to and kind of their resumes and hobby market before we reveal the final 2 spots. So the first candidate is Terry Sawchuk, all-time franchise leader in games played at net with 734. Also all-time leader in wins, 350. Played at the Wings in 14 of his 21 NHL seasons. Won the Calder in 1951. 3 of his 4 Vezina trophies were played at the Wings. 3 of his 4 Stanley Cups were with the Red Wings. And then 1,373 Sawchuk cards have sold on the secondary markets year to date. 21 of those sales have been for more than $1,000. So not a ton of total sales, but a good number of higher end. And this photo, like if you're watching on YouTube, fascinates me to know, how are you not terrified without a helmet and that puck basically whizzing 8 inches from your face?
Yeah, it's coming in hard, it looks like.
That's great. That you could keep the focus and attention on that. Kind of mind-blowing. The next candidate was my guy Pavel Datsyuk. And I kind of want this bad for me. I was hoping that we're going to be able to wedge him in there, but it had to stay true to the bit. Right. Datsyuk played all 14 of his NHL seasons with the Detroit Red Wings. 6th all-time and franchise leader in assists. 7th all-time in points, 918. 8th all-time in goals, 314. 2-time Stanley Cup champion. 4-time Lady Byng winner. 3-time Selke winner. He was the Carhartt hardest working player of the month in December 2007, Phil. You impressed?
Extremely impressed.
A very weird award, so I had to throw it in there. Has Brady Tkachuk ever been the Carhartt hardest working player? I don't think so.
All right. You don't have to hit me where it hurts, Josh.
Named one of the NHL's 100 greatest players in 2017. Of course, just elected into the Hockey Hall of Fame. So far this year, 1,672 Pavel Datsyuk cards have sold on the public secondary markets year to date. 24 or more for more than 500 US. That's number 2. So we've got Sawchuk, Datsyuk. Next candidate is Nicholas Lidstrom. Maybe the best defensive defenseman of all time? Question mark. I don't know. Played all 20 of his NHL seasons with the Red Wings. Amongst defensemen, he's first all-time in franchise history in games played, 1,564. Goals, 264. Assists, 878. Points, 1,142. He's only one of 8 defensemen ever with 1,000 or more points. And Lidstrom and Ray Bourque are the only 2 NHL defensemen to score 1,000 or more points with a single team.
Wow, that's a great stat. That's a great stat.
He's a 4-time Stanley Cup winner, 10-time NHL first All-Star team winner. Remember, that's crazy. But named 10 times one of the 2 best defensemen in the league. Just 7 Norris trophies. Won the Conn Smythe in 2002. Number 5 was retired by the Red Wings in 2014. 2,925 Nicholas Lidstrom cards have sold on the secondary market so far this year, but only 8 of those for more than 500 US.
That's where the debate's going to be with him.
Yes, he has like no high-end market at all.
Yeah.
Right. And so as I hope you guys can sense like how tricky this already is. And there's 2 guys left. There's 2 guys left. The next one is Sergei Fedorov, who of course was my first big childhood Ricky hockey chase, was of course the 1990 Fedorov Young Guns. He played 13 of his 20 NHL seasons in Detroit. Fedorov played 908 games with the Red Wings, 11th most in franchise history. His 400 goals with the Wings ranks 4th. His 554 assists with the team ranks 7th. 954 points ranks 6th. Won the Hart Trophy 1994, Pearson Award winner, 2-time Selke Award winner, 3-time Stanley Cup champion, inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2015. 3,850 Fedorov cards have sold on the secondary market so far in 2024, but just 8 of those for more than 500 US. So we have a couple guys who haven't sold a lot of cards like Sawchuk, but have 21 of over $1,000. Now we have like Lidstrom and Fedorov who have higher volume, but not much of a high-end market, right? Both junk wax era rookies, so that probably factors in too. Then one more guy. I felt like you had to throw Ted Lindsay into the bunch. Final Red Wings legend I had on my consideration list for the final 2 spots on the Hobby Mount Rushmore. Played 13 of his 17 seasons with the Red Wings, 9th on the franchise's all-time points leaderboard of 728, 6 in goals with 335, 4-time Stanley Cup champion, Art Ross winner 1950, 8-time first-team All-Star, inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1966. Not much of a hobby, but and of course one of the founding members of the NHLPA. So what the players enjoy today, you can trace back to Ted Lindsay, but not much of a hobby market. 654 Ted Lindsay cards have sold on the secondary market since the beginning of 2024. 10 of those, though, for more than 500 US. And then before we get into the discussion, because people are like, well, what about Alex Delvecchio? What about Brendan Shanahan? What about Sid Abel? If you want to go more, and there's a couple other guys, Red Kelly, you could throw in there too. And there's just so many with these original 6 teams. Zetterberg is another one that it's such a tough call for the final 2 spots. So before I get into who I'm nominating, Troy and Phil, who of those 5, who would you pick?
Oh boy, that's hard. Troy, you go first.
I was thinking, so problem with Lindsay, like a problem with a couple of these were the older guys, right? With their hobby market. Like I know we said 654 Lindsay cards but there's not that many cards out there. Like he was elected in the Hall of Fame in 66. So I'm assuming he retired 63, 62. So there's probably just not a lot of cards him left or out there. I would go with, I would say Sawchuk, and Lidstrom really hurts. He is from the playing abilities point, he's on the Mount Rushmore, but the hobby market. But there's still a ton of his cards that sell. They're just not very valuable. I'm gonna go. I'll say Fedorov too.
It's hard. It's not easy.
Troy. Yeah.
For sure, I'm gonna go Sawchuk, and I'll go Fedorov.
Okay, Phil, who would you pick?
Oh, I was hoping you'd skip me. It's hard, man. So Howe and Yzerman all the way. And as far as I'm concerned, Datsuk, Lidstrom, and Fedorov are all deserve a tie. And then I would put Sawchuk. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would probably go with.
Such a cop out. It's such a cop out.
I know it is. I know. So I would probably go. I don't want to pick Sawchuk because I have no connection to him. But his card, the select few people that look for his old parky are just. It's gargantuan money, right? So you got to keep Sawchuk in there. Ask me in 10 years, I won't have Sawchuk. And I'm going to put Fedorov because I saw him play. I saw the other guys play too. But Fedorov actually was used as a defenseman. So I know Lidstrom was a defenseman. And I know Datsuk was one of the best defensive mind forwards. But Fedorov was actually slotted as a D-man 4 games and did it lights out. So I'm going to pick Fedorov.
Okay. I don't know if you can go wrong, But
It doesn't
you
feel
guys are,
dirty though to leave Lindsay off, and I didn't pick
Totally.
him. It seems so dirty just to leave him off. But
nobody
know what
likes
else
him in
you
the
do.
hobby.
Yeah.
Nobody cares, right? He got blacklisted by all the GMs, right? He was a martyr.
Yeah.
And what does the hobby care about unions?
Yeah.
well,
All right.
you guys might not be happy because for the third spot on the Red Wings Hobby Mount Rushmore, I actually went with Nicholas Lidstrom.
Okay.
And I'll explain why. His overwhelming accomplishments as a player, 7-time Norris Trophy winner.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, right? And beyond that, 10-time NHL first All-Star team, 4-time Stanley Cup champion. It's just really hard. And again, if you look at on the Mount Rushmore of NHL defensemen, he might be on that. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And so it
That's a
felt
good
really
point.
hard. It felt really hard for me to leave him off. Now the knock is, and again, the volume of card sales is pretty good too, where almost 3,000 cards have been sold so far this year. It's just that lack of that high end market that is the one, I think, real knock against the hobby Mount Rushmore sort of candidacy. But again, though, him and Fedorov are kind of in the same boat where they're 1990 rookies, right? And then the smack of the junk wax era, where to some extent that hamstrings their hobby market a little bit because when you talk about like high end of a hobby market, a lot of it centers around the rookie card. Like we just talked about, like Sawchuk, right? Well, he's got the 1951 Parkhurst, which is such an iconic set. Lidstrom really doesn't even have a great rookie card.
Yeah.
No.
And it's such a shame given how good of a defenseman. And so
It does say Young Guns on it, though.
Yeah.
It does say Young Guns. It looks like a PowerPoint Microsoft,
Yes,
but it does say Young Guns.
Well, the card I ultimately used for the Mount Rushmore was his all-time Future Watch auto from SP Legends, which I think is maybe one of the top auto cards you could get of him. And it's crazy that it just came out a couple of years ago. So again, I know he wasn't your pick, but does anyone have any?
No, I'm not arguing.
No, I get it. Like
the highest selling Nicholas Lidstrom card to date is a 2021-22 stature. Again,
Ooh.
I mean,
Wow.
the purple patch auto photo variant.
Yeah.
Get
ready.
101.
Get your variant checklist out so you make sure you get them all.
Yeah, sold for
Can I guess?
1,500. Oh yeah, go. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
If you get the guess wrong now.
Guess in Canadian. That was the US. Guess in Canadian.
Canadian, I'm pretty good. 1138 Canadian.
You went the wrong way, right? Oh,
You
yeah.
went the wrong way, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the highest selling card ever is $1,500. Crazy. In August of 2023.
2 years ago, 3 years ago.
All right. So now I had Sawchuk, Datsuk, Fedorov, and Lindsay. And to me, it came down to Sawchuk and Datsuk. And I narrowed it down to, like, hobby market wise, Datsuk had slightly higher volume of cards sold. Sawchuk has way more higher priced cards. At the end of the day, though, Terry Sawchuk is so iconic in Detroit. And again, he's one of the famed top 3 rookies in the 1951 Parker set. And I figured, Troy might quit the show if we didn't put a goalie on the Red Wings Mount Rushmore. So my final pick for the Red Wings Hobby Mount Rushmore is Terry Sawchuk, who, of course, 3-time Vezina Trophy winner of the team, 1-time Stanley Cup. Again, the higher end hobby market will push him over the top. The highest selling Terry Sawchuk card to date is a 1951 Parker's PSA 8, sold for $24,000 US in July 2021 by Heritage. So we just talked about like Nicholas Lidstrom at 1,500 compared to 24,000.
That's crazy.
So there
Jeremy Lee's going to be happy. We all picked Sawchuk. He'll be like, "Good job, boys. I won't have to hurt any of you at the expo."
Now,
how Yzerman, Lidstrom, and Sawchuk? Well, I think as far as like internet commenters go, maybe like I subconsciously copped out because it's probably the safest route to go. It would have been a little more controversial maybe to have Fedorov or Datsuk in there. It sounds like from your guys' perspective, it would have been Fedorov probably would have been the one. And I love Sergei Fedorov. So
My question to you, Josh, is you totally missed one obvious one, and I'm wondering at any point in your looking research, Tim Shovelday didn't come up. I mean, come on. Now, if you don't know who Tim Shovelday is, this is where Troy goes into a story that I used to go to a goalie camp in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and he was one of the instructors there. So that's where I got to know Tim Shovelday. So I think he should be on the Mount Rushmore.
I thought you were gonna say the like Chris Osgood or Bob Probert or something.
No. If I, you know what, if I had to, I'll say my Mount Rushmore would be like Tim Shovelday, Ron Duguay. I would have just random players on there.
I did one thing, and I may have mentioned this on the show before, but my parents are divorced, and my dad lived in Toledo, Ohio, and worked in Detroit. And for his job, he was a salesman. He had Red Wings tickets for more than 25 years.
Yeah.
And so when I would go see him and live with him in the summer, he would take me to Red Wings games. And I just happened to be a child right during the whole Russian 5 era. So a number of times I got to see the Russian 5 play together, and it was amazing. Like they just knew, you couldn't believe the passes that they would make because they just knew exactly where everyone would be. And it was kind of like a ballet on ice. I mean, if that's a weird analogy or not,
yeah.
It was just so fluid. And so I'll always remember that. Okay. So now for next week, we have 3 teams left in the Atlantic Division. Going to bring our lovely Baba Louie on the stage here because he's going to help us decide. So we have Tampa Bay, Boston. Get pumped, Phil. Toronto. Which one should we do next, boys?
Tampa Bay.
Can we do Toronto and get it over with, please?
Oh, I was going to say that. But then I was like, well, we already did a big one, so let's wait another show. We'll do Tampa Bay, then Toronto, then Boston.
Well, two of the
I'm
three
fine
are
with ripping the Band-Aid. We can do Toronto.
Okay.
Who's going to watch Tampa Bay? No one's a Tampa Bay Lightning fan. If you're a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, write in.
We can do Toronto. I already got Troy's Toronto list started. Darby Hendrickson, and I'm trying to think who else I can put on there.
You have the weirdest hobby. Okay, so we have Tampa Bay, we have Toronto.
Wait, did Damian Rose play for Tampa?
Louis, we'll let you pick. Who do you want? You get to decide.
Who said what? Who wants Tampa Bay?
No. You don't be colored by any of their personalities. Just which one do you want to do, and we'll see if Troy wins or Phil wins.
Louis, just think of this: Damian Rose.
Say Toronto.
Darby Hendrickson played for Toronto. Damian Rose. We got 2 Minnesotans.
Let's go over the border to Toronto.
Ooh.
Yeah, Louis! Peer pressure for the win.
All right.
Listen, man, if we do Toronto during the season and they're like over 500, oh my God, I can't handle it. No way. No. We got to do it in the off season. They're already ridiculous.
Toronto it is. Maple Leafs next week. Here we go. Thanks, Louis.
Yes.
All right, got to make a quick mention for Gongshow partner and sponsor Slab Sharks because we are very thankful to them for their support of our show. The current Slab Sharks weekly eBay auction is live, runs through this upcoming Thursday night. Another banger auction. How many cards are there this week? I forgot to look that up, but so if somebody could look that up quick, that would be awesome.
There are, I'll find it real quick. It looks like, a lot. I don't know.
Many.
I thought it used to say on their site.
You just got to scroll down the bottom.
Why is it always at the bottom?
Oh.
1,838.
Wow, that's bigger than last week too. So heating up as we get closer and closer to the season. We'd recommend heading to slabsharks.com, check out all the cards, find your favorites, get those early bids in. We've all spent some time perusing the cards available this week and each have our favorites. We normally pick 2 each. Sometimes Troy goes completely off the reservation and highlights 12, but he scares us, so we just let him do it. All right, Troy, which cards speak to you in this week's Slab Sharks weekly eBay?
I got 2. I did 2. And, you kind of said we spent minutes or hours looking time. I spent like 4 seconds. I found these 2 cards right away. And I'm like, yep, this is one. And then I went down and I'm like, oh, this is the other one. So here's the first one. 21, Upper Deck the Cup, Cale Makar, Foundations, patch auto gold out of 5. I just think the patch is stupid sick. And it's got an auto. And it's one of those cards where everything looks big and it fits everything in nice. And I think it looks awesome. And Makar's awesome. So there you go. That was my first card.
Can I make a comment real quick?
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about breaker stickers?
Hate them. I get it. It's
Yeah.
advertising for them, but I hate it. And I try to remove them every time.
You can't
know
see
where
the edge. You can't see the edge of the card because of it.
Yeah, you know where I have ish. This is where I don't know what the right thing is. So I'll explain this sometimes. Well, it's like clear cut, right? When you buy a box of clear cut, does it have it's in a one touch, right?
Yeah, it's in a one touch, but the sticker doesn't impede over the card though.
Okay, it doesn't. I will say there's like redemption cards that you'll get sometimes where Upper Deck puts their, but I always take those off. And there's some like auto cards from other manufacturers. Now I see this all the time in like not Marvel, but like Rittenhouse. If anyone knows what Rittenhouse is, they do like entertainment cards. And some of these are redemptions, and they'll have this huge sticker over them. And it will actually affect or be in front of the card. But if you take them off, they actually lose value because people think there's a way you could have faked it. It's really weird, but I usually take them off at the end of the day. So that was a big long rant.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to 450. I don't even know who they are, right? No offense to them or anything like that. I just think that it's very smart from their perspective, but I just don't like it when you go to list the card that that's what they want. But I don't mind if there's a sticker on there if it doesn't impede like into the card, right? Because I'm thinking if I'm going to bid on this, what if there's a big chunk missing?
There was a big thing, a big little. Oh man, what card was it? I think it was a base, or was it maybe Cartel? I think Sports Card Cartel had a story on this. Someone bought a card and they had a sticker that was over maybe a corner, and it hit a huge ding in the card.
Oh.
And it was really shady. Now, I don't think this is just looks like a breaker sticker, but I get it. If I was a breaker, I would do exactly the same thing. But when I list it, I would take it off. There.
Phil?
I have a couple of things that bother me about those stickers, but first I'd like to say from a business standpoint, I totally get it. It's very smart, but there's a couple of things. They are so hard. I sometimes try to take a knife and peel the corner on the bottom and then try and take the tape off that way. But they're smart. The stickers are really, really good. The adhesive is so sticky. And usually on my one touch, it ruins the one touch.
Yeah.
So that I don't like. So then I thought, do like surgery and take the knife, be very careful and just cut the middle of the sticker, and then you can get the card to come out. But then I'm worried the sticker will scratch the card if it's coming out. So I understand why you guys are doing it, but it also kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth because you're not bigger than the card. So stop doing it.
Yeah, usually I just cut them, and if I just cut them to get a new top loader. That's what I try to do. But yeah, like you said,
every time.
Yeah, you gotta watch it when you take it out. Okay, second card. I don't know. I can't stop staring at this. This is such a sweet card. It's a 2006 Upper Deck the Cup, Ilya Kovalchuk, limited logos patch auto out of 50. The patch is absolutely stupid sick. 1, 2, 3, 4 colors, about 9 breaks. Even got some strings in here, which I like. It looks like it's game worn. I love this card. It is so awesome.
What year is that, Troy?
2006.
Okay. Yeah,
Second
I can tell.
Yeah, bid all your money. Bid all your money for this one. This is, and just Thrashers. It's awesome. I love it. I wonder if it must be, is it from this patch on his shoulder?
Looks like it.
Yeah, it does look like it. Even though I don't know where that orange right there is. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's still sweet. Or it actually might be from the actual front of the jersey. But it's awesome. So that's mine.
Okay, here's my 2 picks. My first one is a 2012 Upper Deck the Cup Pavel Bure Emblems of Endorsements patch auto out of 15. I love Pavel Bure. The patches are not only cool but very interesting on this card. The bottom one, I think it's from the like the chest patch, like the big one on his jersey, and the bottom left corner of it, right where the skate.
Yeah.
I think it has something to do with that. I don't know. I just think that these are. I don't often see a card and I'm perplexed in a good way by the patches. So there's just something cool about this. I think the logo looks great, and you don't see a lot of Bure patch autos. So just not a ton out there. So yeah, like that one. Then my second pick is a 2023 Upper Deck Credentials Connor Bedard debut ticket access rookie auto yellow out of 25. Honestly, there hasn't been a lot of Bedard rookie cards that have really spoken to me lately, but for whatever reason, I'm digging this one.
75.
Yeah, out of 75. I'm sorry. I don't know. I love that the autos are on card. I
Mhm.
think he doesn't have weird hockey mouth. I like kind of the yellow bat. It's just a cool looking card. The only thing I would change on it is we've said this before. I don't love the logo behind the auto because I just want white space
Yeah.
for them to sign. But I don't know. I dig this card. Now, Phil, here's where you tell me what you hate.
Why is Josh wrong?
I don't like it. I don't like it because it doesn't say rookie on it.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
that's a little upsetting. The yellow kind of looks like bile. I'm not a big fan of the yellow. And if credentials, listen, this card will be a banger if credentials stay like in 20 years. If there's still
Yeah.
credentials and debut ticket access auto is a thing, hey man, banger card. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here's an
I
upper
don't know.
deck sticker too. I just noticed.
Let's just kill the card. Burn it.
Wait,
Yeah, what
where's
does that
the
mean?
logo? Oh, there's no logo. Okay, I can't yell at that.
I wonder if that was a redemption then or something like that.
Yeah, it must
That'd
have
be
been.
weird to have it by now. I don't know why that upper deck sticker's on there.
That's a great question. What is going on here? And then I kind of dig this text right here. It reminds me of, did anyone watch college football on Fox lately? The new graphics just drive me insane. And this kind of looks like it, but I actually don't mind it on this card.
Well, if you take a typography class, it's very dangerous and probably not super advised to use 3 different fonts in one different design. But
Are we
they do.
typography experts? Josh is our typography expert. I love it. I'll be our logo expert.
I'm an expert at many things. Yeah, okay, I'll take up that mantle here for the show. All right, Phil. So the first one that you picked, we're gonna throw that one up. What is it?
So what you're looking at a Shane. It looks like a Tim Stutzel card, but it's not. It's a Shane Pinto card,
Yeah.
and it's a signature renditions from the cup. I wish they used a black pen, not a blue pen, which kind of blends in with their blue-green background. I am forever confused. Who gets to pick the pen? If Upper Deck is listening, can I be the pen guy? Can I be the pen pick the color of the hockey card guy? But anyways, it's a beautiful card. Signature renditions. Timmy Stutzel's on it. And listen, everybody watching, listen, good listener, and especially Josh and Troy and Louie, get used to what you see on that card. You're going to see it a lot more this year. Yeah, so
I love your take. I don't like the pen at all. I would do it as gold. I don't know if it's not gold. It's probably not a gold card, but I think because black, you might run the issue of
You're right.
Here, I would do gold to match the nice logo here.
I changed my mind, Troy Iverson. I agree with you. Gold would be better.
But then
You're
they're going to be like,
You're my
it's not a
assistant.
gold. It's not a gold parallel. It doesn't count.
And it's from 2021, the cup. So Phil, are you saying that if you checked like a Chinese calendar in your mind, is this the year of the Pinto? Is that what you're saying?
This is the year of the Pinto, baby. Yeah, it's gonna just watch out. Don't buy his cards, but just watch out.
All right.
All right, now we have the next one. Yep.
Yeah, Pavel Bure was my favorite player growing up for like 10 years, and I don't know why it didn't stay with me. I still love him to death. And I just saw this card and it resurrected some old feelings. I am in the forest, so I do forget what year this card is from. Boys, if you can help me out.
96 or 97.
97.
97
So
Donruss Limited.
Yeah, beautiful card. Very nice, very white. I do find it a little odd how he's in his old Canucks jersey, but they have the new logo on there. I don't know. I don't know why they did that. They plopped it on there for some reason. I have no idea. Doesn't match anything else, but yeah, it's great. Beautiful card. Love it.
It's also a refractor out of 25 too. So
that also helps.
There. Yeah, you can bid on all these cards that we've gone through and 1,800 more, slapsharks.com. And if you're a Canadian hockey cards collector, maybe you're wondering how, where, and why so many people are choosing Slapsharks as their eBay consignor of choice. It's because they make the process and experience hassle-free and simple to sell your cards on eBay. Slapsharks does all the work. They take great photos, list your cards, answer buyer questions, hunt down payment from winners, ship to not only Canada, but the US as well, and most importantly, handle any post-sale issues. Plus, when you list your cards with Slapsharks, you'll know they're in one of the most popular weekly eBay auctions, so you can expect a lot of hobby eyeballs seeing your listings. Check out slapsharks.com today for complete consignment info, including payout rates, and to get the consignment process started. Okay, now normally we do a very rambunctious and fun intro to hobby news, but with our first story, boys, I feel like it just wouldn't vibe super well. And so I'm just going to say hobby news today, and we're going to roll that way with respect and sadness, of course, from the very sad news from Friday that has rocked the hockey world with the tragic passing of the Columbus Blue Jackets forward, Johnny Gaudreau, or as affectionately known as Johnny Hockey. Johnny and his brother Matthew were killed while riding bicycles in Oldmans Township, New Jersey, just outside of Philadelphia. Johnny and his brother were in the area for his sister's wedding, which was scheduled to be, I think, on Saturday, which makes this even another level of terribleness. About 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, they were struck while biking on the side of the road by a 43-year-old named Sean Higgins, who was driving a Jeep and then hit them while attempting to pass a car. The driver of the Jeep is being investigated for driving under the influence. Very, very sad and tragic, of course. Johnny Gaudreau is 31 years old. His brother Matthew, 29. Johnny played 11 seasons. And normally on the show, we like to go through player stats and accomplishments. Of course, he had those, but there's more important stats, I think, for us to go over today. He died way too young at just 31 years old. He had a wife, Meredith, had 2 children under the age of 2 years old who won't know their father. He was also has a mother and a father who will miss him very much. So please do not ever drink and drive. If you're watching and listening, it can ruin lives in an instant. Of course, feel very badly for his family, friends, and fans of his with the Blue Jackets and Flames and any other Boston area where into college. Now, when you're talking about the Blue Jackets and Matthias Kivlenix, right? A couple years ago, it's like, gosh, the amount of tragedy this team has gone through, it's just incredible. And normally when we talk about a player too, we go through their card values and stats. And I don't want to do that today because I think in the context of what's happened, it feels kind of trivial in that regard. But what I always take away from situations like this is that life is fleeting. And don't waste a minute, hour, or day of your life. So I used to sell media. And one of the guys that I sold media to, his name was Michael. He had a great job. He oversaw marketing for Starwood Resorts in Hawaii. So again, not a bad gig to have. So when you call Michael or on his email, and he'd pick up the phone and say hello, and he'd say, "Hey, Michael, how's it going?" Every time he had the same response. And I talked to this guy for years, and he would say, "Every day's a gift." And that's always kind of stuck with me because I think it's very true when thinking about, and certainly feels true today when thinking about Johnny Hockey and his brother Matthew. So for me, of course, and I'll let you guys chime in a second, rest easy, Johnny and Matthew. That's what we'll say there. How did this news hit you guys? Maybe we'll start with you, Phil, and then move on to Troy.
I'm at, I don't have much reception up here where I'm at. So when I just pulled away to go get a coffee, I was in a parking lot getting a coffee, and I just sat there for about, you deal with it yourself, right? You don't know him, but you rock the hockey world, as you said. And he's a father. My son's 16. He'll never know that. And that life is fleeting, as you said. So I try to live in the hammock of yesterday and tomorrow. And that's today, right? So if we can just relax, we got 2 trees. One's tomorrow, one's yesterday. You can just lie in that hammock of right now. I think that's the key to life. Live today.
Troy, what did you think when you heard the news?
So I had a little different story to how I heard about it. So for some reason, I was on Reddit or doing something, and I actually saw these rumors start dang near like 8 p.m. or 6 or I
Wow.
or what time. It started not too far after the timeline says that this accident happened. So you said 8:30 Eastern. So it must have been 10 o'clock Eastern time or something.
It would have been 7:30 our time. So
it was the weirdest thing because I was just on Reddit and Twitter, and all of a sudden I started seeing this stuff, and I just kept refreshing, and then it's like, I'm not going to believe this. It's ridiculous. And then you get the coroner's note. It looks like a handwritten piece of paper. I'm like, this has to be just the worst hoax ever. Then you have Tim Peel, who's not a bastion of the truth. The old referee that he confirms it. And then some other people. And I'm like, no, whatever. No one's said, no one's confirmed it. I kind of posted in our group chat. I'm like, hey, if you guys are seeing this, no one's confirmed it. So I'm just going to kind of go to bed. But then when I was in bed laying there, I'm like, you know what? It's been like 4 or 5 hours and this hasn't been, no one said a word Now I'm worried. Fell asleep, woke up, immediately checked my phone, and just I let out an audible gasp. My wife woke up, and she's like, "What? What?" And I just said it, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, I went to bed knowing it might be a thing, but I just didn't think it was any way this was happening. So, yeah,
I heard a lot of people felt like it was real when the family took all their social private.
Yeah, I saw that stuff, but the people were saying, "Oh, they've always been private," and I just I had to finally just check out because I'm like, I can't sit up for 8 hours, waiting for this, and then, someone made the comment too. It's like TMZ hasn't confirmed it; it's not true. And then once it broke,
Did they have a helmet on? They did.
Oh, I have
I'm
no
assuming
clue.
they did.
No clue what any of the situation around what happened. Besides, I mean, it's all from the police report or what the police said. It's just all they've said is suspicion of driving under the influence, tried to pass a car and then decided to pass on the right for some reason. And I don't know, but yeah, again, I mean, audible gas. I hated it. I just was like, no, I mean, even though I knew I kind of knew it was a thought or could happen, but yeah, it just kind of sucked for the rest of the day.
Well, I'm not victim bashing by saying this by any stretch, but my brother is a big triathloner, and I've had conversations with him about road biking. And I just feel that because you're on the right side of the road and cars come at you from behind, and with drunk driving, of course, like in this case, or even distracted driving with people on their all over their phones and stuff like that, I would be terrified to be on a highway riding my bike, as respectful as it is. And again, anyone that does it is not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just, you're just at such the mercy of, and you can never see it coming. So you can't even have the benefit of reacting.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because they're just right on you like that. And I guess the last thing that's really stood out to me since the news broke is just how overwhelming the sentiment for people that have known him and just how good of a person he was. Right. That's the number. Of course, he was a great hockey player. You have to be a great hockey player to play in the National Hockey League. I mean, we dog people sometimes, but the fact is that these are the best athletes in the world that are doing this. And so I think that's kind of a given to get to the level he has, but it's just to a person. Everyone has gone out of their way to talk about how much of a amazing human being he was. And so that's really sad. And you just feel for everyone that knew him, that was friends with him, and of course, Blue Jackets fans. Well, Troy, there's no simple transition from something like this to the trivial world of the national TV broadcast schedule, but hopefully I made that landing a little softer for you.
Hopefully I can change the mood. Here's my picture that I used for the 2024. If you're watching on YouTube, 25 national TV USA broadcast schedule announced. Only picture I could find was ESPN, so I just added TNT in my worst Microsoft writing because I couldn't figure out how to. I'm not good at Photoshop, but this is what I got. So hopefully the mood lighten a little bit. But again, the NHL released the 24-25 national TV schedule for the US. So we have opening night, which is October 8th. ESPN. We're gonna have a triple header. Love triple headers. They're gonna start with St. Louis at Seattle. Then the second game will be the Panthers and Bruins, and so the Panthers are gonna raise their Stanley Cup banner. That'll be fun. Third game will be the Utah Hockey Club versus the Blackhawks. So I think besides the St. Louis Seattle, I don't know what the big draw in that game is, but the Panthers, Utah, and Chicago are pretty good teams to have going on your first night for a USA audience. TNT is going to begin their coverage the next day on October 9th with a doubleheader. Okay, here's the big numbers. 100 exclusive regular season games will be broadcast on the ESPN family of channels, I'll call them. They will also broadcast the Stanley Cup playoffs as well as one conference final. And then TNT is going to broadcast 62 regular season games as well as the 2025 Stanley Cup final and half of the playoffs. I would love to be in the negotiations between these two, trying to figure out who gets what on different years and how much of the playoffs you get. The other highlights, October 22nd is the Frozen Frenzy. where all 32 teams play with a national broadcast triple header. Winter Classic is December 31st, Blues versus Blackhawks at Wrigley Field. That'll be pretty sweet. They're also going to broadcast the 2024 Four Nations face-off. It will be on ESPN, ABC, and TNT. All of them get a shot at that one. And then the Stadium Series game is March 1st, Detroit versus Columbus at Ohio Stadium, or also known as the Shoe. So if they can fill that place out, that'd be pretty amazing. Kind of like Michigan, right? Didn't they get like over 100,000 people or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people. And then finally, this graphic was on Reddit. A lot of people saw it. This is basically national US. This is all USA, like America. National TV games by teams. And it looks like they're doing some things right. You got the Oilers on here 17 times. So that's good. Getting McDavid exposed to the US market more. I think last year, too, it was like 18 or 19 times. Chicago, 15. Avalanche, 17. So the teams I would expect, Crosby here, 17 with the Penguins. What?
Bills.
Well, Ottawa has 0 and Toronto has 9. What is that crap?
Well, I'll tell you, the Maple Leafs are probably more popular in the States than Ottawa. Is Ottawa even on here? I can't even find their logo.
Yeah, it's a big fat 0 with Calgary.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
And Winnipeg. Oh, great. Yeah. Winnipeg. Yeah, no wonder. You know what? Winnipeg's my third favorite team. I'm rooting for them. I hope they win a cup.
Yeah. Well, I get it, though. I get why. Because Toronto is probably so close to the border. Like, there's American teams.
I don't think the geography matters as much as the players. And that's what this whole opening night thing is bugging me. Well, if you're wondering what just happened to Phil, no, it's not a solar eclipse. We've had massive technical issues, and it's now dark where Phil is. So yeah, it's sometimes podcasting is amazing, people. But okay, I did have one comment I wanted to make before we move on the national TV stuff. Is I still have an issue with this opening game where you have 3 of the 6 teams, which I think just don't put the spotlight that you'd want on the NHL opening night, where you have, I get that the whole vibe is for them to go with the American thing, theme that night and everything like that. But we have St. Louis, Seattle, and then we have Utah, who's playing the Blackhawks in the first game. Get that? I don't know. I don't see McDavid. I don't see McKinnon. I don't see Makar. I don't see Austin Matthews, Ovechkin, Crosby. It's opening night of the NHL. I feel like that the league has to do a better job of promoting their stars. Am I crazy, guys, or what do you think?
I don't know why it's St. Louis versus Seattle. I don't know what went into that decision. That I definitely don't agree with those 2 teams. I see your point. The other games I can get behind. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes with these meetings, but yeah, you think. Can you get a couple more marquee players in that first game to kind of drive interest the first night? But agree.
They're going with geography ahead of stars. And I think what we've seen over and over again is that stars carry leagues and stars draw interest. And it's like the NHL doesn't want Connor McDavid to be the biggest star. Now, like you said, he is on national TV 17 times. So it's not. I guess it's just opening night to me. I don't know, is a big deal, but we'll move on. Okay, we're going to move on, Troy and Phil, and we're going to talk about picking the right Wayne Gretzky auto. You mentioned I've been working on this segment, I guess we'll call it now, for a few months, trying to fit it into the show.
Yeah.
Trying to really get through my thoughts. Happy that I guess we can get to it today. And one of the things, I guess, Troy, I first got the idea to do this when you did a half project, when you started looking up, I think in TCDB, the amount of unique Gretzky autos. And what did you quit at? Like some ridiculous number?
It was like 8,000 or something. And that wasn't even close to being done. And that was actually taking it when it was 25, counting that or out of 25, counting the 25 autos. And I was nowhere near being done. That was a lot of work. So it's a ton. He's got a ton of autos.
Many, many thousands of autos. And that got me thinking, because I don't have a Wayne Gretzky auto. Do you have a Gretzky auto, Phil?
I do not.
Yeah. And I don't think you do, Troy, right?
No.
So I want one. But when you come to think of, okay, like let's say I had the money, or I had $1,000 to $2,000 or even less, and I thought, okay, I'm going to buy a Gretzky auto today. How would I go about making that decision? And given that there's so many, and the span of Gretzky autos, if you look at like an in-person auto from 1979 to today, we're at like 45 years now of cards, and so it's not a simple decision, because to a varying degrees they're all pretty spendy, right? I mean, he is the great one, so you're not going to get any Gretzky auto cheap. Some range from a few $100s to a few thousand. And again, as a person who's never owned a Gretzky, I would like to. Now, what do you guys think? I would assume that the percentage of hockey card collectors that would come out, if they don't own one, that would want a Gretzky auto in their collection, you have to be like 80 to 90%, right? I don't know if I've ever met anyone that wouldn't want a Wayne Gretzky auto.
Everybody wants a Wayne Gretzky auto.
Yeah, I agree. It's probably that high.
So we're going to try to break it down today, like how you go about trying to find the right one for you and your collection. And like we do in most of these types of discussions, we're going to take the angle of choosing the right Gretzky auto that can build value over time. Now, some of you might be thinking or saying to yourself, I do want a Gretzky auto, and I don't care if it builds value over time. And I get that. And if that's the case, then just buy what you love. But it's really hard to have a discussion on a podcast about anything that's purely subjective, right? Because when it comes to everyone has their own taste, and there is no such thing as right or wrong. And so it's a really simple segment, right? Okay, buy what you love, we're done. So the goal here is to find the right auto that is appealing to you in your collection, that you would enjoy owning, but still has the ability to build value over time, because I think that's where we can have a little bit more of an objective conversation and maybe give some people some ideas or tips in how to do that. Yeah. I would still argue, though, that even if you are more in the I don't care about value, that both principles can exist. And that's really the goal of today's conversation, is to buy something you love, and then that also has a good chance to be worth some amount that makes you happy down the road. So is everyone on board with the goals so far? Phil, you look scared, even though it's in the night. Are you going to get murdered? Is there?
I am.
Looks like he's on the Blair Witch Project.
I am a little bit scared. We'll have to do a quality and wellness check an hour after we're done recording. I gotta walk back to the cottage.
And I should say too that we're just going to be discussing and debating Gretzky autos. You can tell that, Phil, you're already too scared, and we can't add in the variable of patches and jerseys and all other types of memorabilia, right? And so it's just Gretzky auto cards today. So where do we start? I think we have to understand, again, the scale of the problem, narrowing down the large variety of options that people have in acquiring one of these puppies. There's a colloquialism here in America, Phil, that when you say like getting one of these puppies, that doesn't mean somebody's getting a dog. Just want to be.
Oh, okay.
Like you got excited for a second there. You're like, I saw a puppy, and you're like, ooh, puppy. Right. So per card letter sales history, well over 1,500 Gretzky autos have sold so far this year alone. That's like more than Terry Sawchuk cards, right? Going back to our Detroit Hobby Mount Rushmore conversation. On the high end, we've seen this auto with a Connor McDavid sell for $15,600 in the Fanatics Premier Auction in January. It's a 2015-16 Upper Deck Black Pro penmanship dual auto, again with Connor McDavid's auto as well, BGS 9.510. Now, of course, it's McDavid rookie year, so that's going to juice up the price on that one. But hey, it is a Gretzky auto too. And then on the low end, we've seen Gretzky auto sell for a couple $100, right? So there's a big spectrum there. I think the highest sale that I found of a singularly autoed Gretzky card is something like 4,000 US, and that would be for an all-time Future Watch auto. And again, we mentioned too, Gretzky auto span decades at this point. So I think the place for us to start breaking this down is by characteristics that you can find in his autoed cards. And again, we're going to talk about that timeline first, which is 45 years of hockey cards at this point, going back to his 1979 rookie cards. So I put these in two major categories of playing days and post-career or retirement cards. So playing day cards are the ones that were produced and released during Wayne's career, which is basically 1979 to 1999. Now, what adds another dimension to his playing day auto cards is that the first pack pulled Gretzky cards weren't until 1994. right? And I think a lot of people consider this Be a Player 1994 autograph as his first like pack pulled, produced by the manufacturer autoed card. And a PSA 9 this is sold for as much as almost $5,000 in January of 2022. So really then the first 15 years of Gretzky's playing days cards are all going to be in-person autos. And I think when you're looking at the notion of buying a Gretzky auto, an in-person auto, in my opinion, adds a lot of complexity to owning a Gretzky auto because of the potential risk factors of authenticity, right? And as a way to, potentially mitigate that, is you can try to find ones that are authenticated by a grader, but that's not necessarily, as we know, foolproof either. And I want to bring on Louis just to illustrate this for a minute because he talks a lot about. Hey, Louis, how are you?
Hi. Great.
Now tell everyone about like your Kirby Puckett that you've sent to multiple graders.
I got a 91 Puckett that I had autographed, right in front of him. When my dad and I was trying to think, I even called him. We can't remember where we were. I got a bunch of Puckett auto stuff, but it was either at the old Metrodome or he was at a mall. Had him sign this card in front of me, and probably in 93. And so 2 years ago, I was going through my cards and just decided for the heck of it, hey, I want to get this Puckett authenticated. So I sent it to PSA, and 2 months later, I got it back with the little do not authenticate, not a good auto. So, all right. Well, then I tried that $10 take a clear picture of it and sent it to Beckett for $10 and got the same thing back from them, that they didn't believe it was a legit auto either, but he literally signed it right in front of me.
And I think what this illustrates is, so Louis had a card that was autographed by the athlete right in front of him, sent it to two graders, and they say it's not authentic. And so if they can do that, then there's the chance that they're authenticating autos that weren't legitimate either. And again, we've talked about this before. We don't need to make this a grading conversation. I just think that, and maybe Troy and Phil too, this would be a good place to chime in. Just your thoughts on IP autos. It's like, I kind of look as where we're trying to like, how do we identify cards that we can buy that can build value over time? I value IP autos just like Louis' experience, where you go, you get it signed in person, it goes into your PC, you were there. You don't really ever expect it to have value because it's an in-person auto, and you enjoy it for what it is. But I don't know if I would ever buy a card now with an in-person auto, just because I'd have to wrap my head around the fact that if this is authentic or not.
Yeah, I'll go first. So here's my deal. I'm like you, Josh. I will never buy an in-person auto ever. I just think to me, they make no sense. I wasn't there. I didn't get the auto. I don't want it. If it's pack pulled, great. I'm all for it. So that's kind of my thing. I just don't deal with them. I've never been a fan of them. And with all the other stuff that comes out about in-person autos, they're not for me.
What about you, Phil? Would you be confident buying an in-person signed Gretzky auto, authenticated or not, by a grader?
No, absolutely not. Even if you had a picture that with Wayne signing it, it's just not something I like. I would just find it weird why someone, like, unless a roof is leaking and you absolutely have to sell something, that would to me be your only situation. So why are there so many in-person autos floating around out there? Because people want, money. It's capitalism.
Yep.
Sure. And so, long story short, if you want a playing days Wayne Gretzky card that's autoed and pack pulled, you're kind of limited to 1994 to 1999 cards. So that's going to be one of the considerations that you're going to have to make. Now, post-career or cards that were produced after he's retired are mainly going to be pack pulled, because by then, Upper Deck and all the other manufacturers were routinely putting autoed cards into packs and hobby boxes. So, and again, as printing technologies have improved, more innovations have been brought to designing cards. You're going to also find some really cool cards, because those 1994 to 1999 playing days auto cards were still somewhat limited, right? In the early on stages of like when cards became more than just cardboard, like paper cards that we, were pretty much had up until that point. And But the flip side though is in my mind, they lose just a little bit of that element, a post career card of not being from when he played. And I think to different people, that's going to have different meaning too. And again, this is whole discussion is about picking the right Gretzky auto for your collection that you think that you can build value over time. And so it's going to be to some degree a system of trade-offs. So I think this is where we get to that first big distinction or decision point, for me at least, anyways, in how do I choose the right Gretzky auto card is, do I want a plain days card that is pack pulled from basically 1994 to 1999, or anything in the 25 years now that has passed? But then you're kind of trading that off for, like I said, it loses a little bit of that element. He wasn't playing in his career. And we're also kind of getting into a stage, I think, as we're in this junk variety era, where because he's such a big draw, he's still the biggest chase that there is in the hockey hobby, where every set Upper Deck kind of puts Wayne Gretzky auto cards in. So year after year, we have 50, 60 more different types, or probably more, of Wayne Gretzky cards that are coming out. And it's getting harder and harder to distinguish what are the special ones versus the more ordinary cards. And I don't know, for that reason, I think personally, I have kind of gravitated more to that playing days, because there's not going to be any more of those. There's not going to be, how many variety of limited logo Gretzky cards can they make in the cup? And I found myself gravitating more to those playing days, even though there are some really cool cards that have come since he retired. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I never thought of it that way, Josh. That's I can't even think of a card during his playing days other than the one you showed, to be a player. Yeah, I'm curious to see. Do you have some examples coming up?
Oh yeah. We have.
Oh, exciting! Good. Yeah.
What do you think, Troy? Do you worry about, like, if there's 19 different years of Gretzky stature autos that somehow waters it down a little bit?
I think it will always be watered down with how much he signs. But to me, the only thing I care about is how it looks. It does not matter to me one bit if it's from playing days or after. Just knowing he signed the card, and I'm all for how it looks. So gotcha. I would gravitate towards any stature card because they all look awesome.
And we're going to get to some examples of playing day cards, Phil, but in a minute. So we talked about, right, there's playing days cards and then retirement cards. Well, you'd think that it's very binary, but there's actually a third category in here too that kind of fits the both, and it's buybacks, right? And so what a buyback is, of course, is where Upper Deck takes a card that was produced a long time ago and then buys it back from collectors and then does something to it, like in most cases has the athlete autograph that card. And I love hand numbering. A lot of them are hand numbered. And we're showing a 1991, very common junk era Wayne Gretzky base card that Upper Deck purchased and had Wayne autograph 500 of them. And so, and this was done, now this one was done in 1999, but they've done it as last buyback cards, I think, were in 2019. So half of the card, right, was created while he was playing in this case, and then maybe it was autographed after. And I don't know, I've never really determined myself or heard somebody say, like, how do you consider, like, what year this card is from? Because the way that Upper Deck kind of listened to is that it's like a 1999 buyback of a 91, 92 Upper Deck. And so it kind of toes or dips its toe into both pools there, if that makes sense. But so I really have kind of like three categories of cards in the timeline of Wayne's career. It's the playing days career cards, the post-career cards, and then the buybacks, which, like I said, kind of fit into both. So,
can I ask you a question about the buyback?
Yeah, of course.
So buybacks in general. So in 1999, Upper Deck put out something, let's say, on their website, which the internet was alive like 5 years. Like, how do you go about doing that? Or in 2019, how did they do a buyback? They said, mail us your card, we'll pay you. And then they pick the best condition ones. They slap their hologram on the back and then get the athlete to sign. Is that how that works?
Because they haven't done them in a long time, and we weren't doing our show, or they haven't done one since starting our show. I don't know if I have the best answer. We probably might have to go to like Jeremy Lee or some other resource.
Yeah, I'm
there,
curious.
I know, and I think we've heard recently in discussions about buybacks that I think Upper Deck will do buyback releases. They may sell them on their website. And like in this case, in this one, I think these were included in an SP Authentic. So like everything Upper Deck does, they'll do it in a, variety of ways. I don't know if there's a standardized way that they do it. I don't know, Troy, do you know anything more than I do?
No, I have no idea if they just go out to card shows and find them and buy them, or how they do it. Because I'm obviously their business. They want to probably get them as cheap as they can.
I love it. I've really come around. Sorry, I love that card. I love the numbered out of 500. I don't think I used to like buybacks, but I think I'm really turning the page, man. That's a beautiful, beautiful card on the screen.
Okay, so the first big category was era, right? And so we identified there's 3 different eras. There's playing days, post-career, and buyback. Well, now we're on to the second category, which I would say team, right? Because as we know, Wayne Gretzky played for 4 teams, and that could be meaningful to a collector as to what jersey you want him represented in your card. There's Team Canada and All-Star jersey cards too, but we'll keep the conversation mainly for the teams he played for. So there's, of course, the Edmonton Oilers. And not sure if you knew that, Troy. Do you know he played for the Oilers?
I did.
Oh, good. Then he took his talents to Hollywood, laced him up for the LA Kings, right? So there's another buyback card, Phil. There's a Kings auto card awesome. There. No one can forget Blues legend Wayne Gretzky, who had a cup of coffee in St. Louis. So you might want a St. Louis Gretzky card. And then finally, he finished his career in the Big Apple with the Rangers. And here's an example of a playing days pack pulled auto in the 1998 SP Authentic Sign of the Times. So here would be, if you're watching on YouTube and for Phil, that you can see that's a playing days Gretzky auto card. Right. And I would say, from what we've observed in the hobby, and you guys might have your own, that the order of most desired tends to be like Oilers, Kings, Rangers, and Blues. And of course, no disrespect meant to Blues legend, but do you guys agree with that? In that's kind of what people go after?
I'd say there's a big separation. Goes Oilers, big separation, Kings, big separation. And then Rangers, then no one cares.
And then you're going to have, like you said, you're going to have your niches where some people love it. If you're Canadian, you may want them in a Team Canada jersey. I love the All-Star Gretzky cards, especially if they're in the old like Campbell Conference uniforms. Like those really speak to me, but that's more of a niche kind of thing probably. So we have era, we have team. The next factor I want to throw into the conversation is card characteristics, right? So this is typical stuff where we're like, is it a hard signed auto or is it a sticker auto? If you're watching, here's a Synergy example of a Gretzky sticker auto. Of course, this is a huge issue for a lot of collectors, whether you mind sticker autos or not. Again, we're trying to choose the right Gretzky auto to build value. It's, I think, pretty commonly known that the value play would be to find a hard signed auto that will probably do better over time. But another factor, and we've already had this conversation today in Phil in your Slab Sharks picks, that I would throw into this discussion is kind of like pen or marker type, and then placement of the auto on the card. So the first thing is like an auto that's signed you want an auto that's signed in a good spot on the card with the right marker type and color that makes a big difference, right? So here's an example of an authenticated in-person Gretzky auto that you can barely see the auto on. And so it's like, is this a good card that can build, has a great chance to build value over time? I think a lot of people will look at that and say it's hard to enjoy the autograph because they really can't see it. What the auto does is kind of ruin the jersey in this photo.
So who got this autoed? Someone who wanted to sell it. That's my problem. No one, or someone got this autograph to keep it, right? Maybe they were in a pinch, but I highly doubt it.
Mm-hmm. Then you have like autos that are too thick, and a lot of people have issues with that. Is it just seems like that? I don't know why people. I don't prefer this either. I have a hard time articulating. I don't know, Troy. Do you have an opinion of like why like people don't like these like super thick markered autos?
Because it looks ridiculous. I wouldn't want this.
Good answer, Troy. Good answer, baby.
Sometimes the obvious answer is the one that you should just go with.
Well, who knows? Maybe at the time this is what you had. Like you ran into him on the street, and you pulled your marker on. You're like, Wayne, sign this, and it looks like this.
Remember those like smelling markers that we?
Oh, yeah.
They're like, that's what this looks like. That like smells like. What would that be like?
Black cherry
licorice in this
Yeah.
case, or something like that. Yeah.
Cinnamon was my favorite. Brown. It was awesome. It was like little drug addicts.
Great.
Sorry.
And then of course, what you've already mentioned, we've seen in the last couple examples, color of the marker is huge too. It can make a big difference in how the card pops. And it's not just in the case of in-person autos. Here's a buyback auto that Upper Deck did, where it's like, gosh, if you have now imagine had they found a yellow marker for this auto, how awesome would this card be? Right.
Yeah.
It would
a lot
change.
better. Would look a lot better.
It would change. It would match his jersey, so it wouldn't look out of place. And because there's yellow, of course, highlights in the St. Louis Blues jerseys, we're looking at a buyback of him in the Blues uniform. And yeah, it's in a blue auto that's hard to see. And this is again manufactured. It's not just some random encounter on the street. And so having the right color because you want to have a card again that you can enjoy the auto, and the first step to enjoying an auto is being able to see it.
How do you think they decide? I need someone to tell me who decides about the pen color, man. Who decided Wayne signs 500 times a navy blue on black? Who decided that? That's crazy.
I just think it's probably a lack of attention to detail. Like a
To
lot of these
the main thing you're supposed to do, the details, the auto. That's the only reason Wayne is there. How do you make that mistake?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the process at Upper Deck works, but if I was in charge of getting this card signed by him, I would have tested multiple like base cards, right? Not just a Wayne card. Find an auto that looks good. You would have some sort of knowledge bank where that on these certain types of substrates, these markers, they don't last over time. So you should test them and store them so you can make sure 3, 4, 5 years down the road, it still looks good. But it's just probably not an area where they focused on, because it seems pretty obvious that would have made a massive difference in this card to me.
You mean due diligence? Is that what you were looking at?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but it's an area to improve. That's for sure. The next major category to ponder, I think, in our decision-making process and choosing the right Gretzky autograph card is, of course, set and brand. Now, there are cards that are more valuable just because the set they come from. A Gretzky auto from the Cup probably today has better long-term value potential than, let's say, the Synergy example that we looked at a couple of minutes ago. And then there's sort of the set within a set that can make a difference too. Like the Cup is Cup cards are not equal either. And this is just something you have to learn, I think, as a collector, the pantheon or pecking order of the sets. I don't know if there's a knowledge base that exists that just lists which is best. It's a little bit subjective. Most people put the Cup at the top, and then it probably gets a little more subjective at that point. And because we've already mentioned this, that Gretzky is the most popular and chased hockey player of all time, Upper Deck likes to put his autos in just about every set where it makes sense. And so I kind of came up with tiers, and you guys can add in your opinions here too. So if I was looking for Gretzky auto that had the best chance to be worth something down the road, I'm going to probably look first at the Cup, SP Authentic, or one of the SP sets like Legends, right? So I just kind of the SP brand. Then Ultimate and Premier would probably be the ones I would have most confidence in today. And then again, looking at a couple of examples of big time sets within sets that can produce very valuable Gretzky autos would be, again, like Exquisite Collection, which or UD Black, which comes within the Cup, right? And so rather than just a run of the mill Cup auto, I might look at a brand like Exquisite for, again, that will have a little bit of that more brand recognition down the road. And then before I get your guys' feedback on this, then next in line, that next tier down to me would be like Stature or OPG Platinum. If they ever decide to add like more pack pulled autos like for Legends in there, and then maybe like Black Diamond. But I don't know. What do you guys think about what sets are you most confident in if you were looking for a Gretzky auto?
That's a tough one, man. Like, I don't know, but I'm looking at that stature Wayne Gretzky card on the screen. That's one of the most beautiful hockey cards I've ever seen in my life. That is absolutely gorgeous.
It's perfect execution. Yeah, in this
perfect. Perfect. That is a hockey card. I'm gonna start making a master list of perfect hockey cards. That's gonna be on it. Yeah, absolutely.
Troy, do you have an opinion on sets? You're on mute, bud.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dogs have been barking like crazy. I lean towards stature personally, but if I'm looking at value, it's probably obviously it's the one of the first four, the cup or even exquisite. I think has a lot of value because it's such a sought after brand. But personally, stature to me are just I love stature autos, especially when they get it right like this.
Mm-hmm.
He has a beautiful, exquisite. There's like 3 or 4 exquisite cards out there where he's wearing a Campbell jersey and it's a patch auto. My lord,
Yeah.
I think Grotman owns all of them, but yeah, they're phenomenal cards. Big fan of the exquisite Gretzky autos.
So we've covered era, we've covered team, we've covered like character, like auto characteristics, like marker color, placement, thickness, and then we've covered sets. And now I think the next like major decision point is, do you get a card that's graded or raw? And we're looking to establish the most long-term value. So this is not a hard one, right? It's probably the PSA 10 Auto 10 is going to be the most valuable long-term. So here's a different one of that same set that we looked at, the 1998 SP Authentic. This one I think recently sold through Fanatics. And when you get it's a pop 4, right? So that makes it pretty scarce. So,
how much did it go for?
I think about a couple thousand.
Oh, I would have thought more. I would have
Mhm.
thought for sure for like 4 or 5 for grand. That's good.
And then I think there's one more category that determines, and it might already be in people's heads, but of course I would just mention it. It's scarcity. And there's really 2 types of scarcity that can have a big impact on value. There's manufactured scarcity. So like, is a card serial numbered? Is it out of 5 versus out of 99? But again, in this case, we got to remember we're in the junk variety era. So we have lots of parallels within parallels. And stature, as beautiful as that stature card was that we looked at, that's a huge issue, I think, with that set is that, making sure that, is this card actually really rare despite the serial number on it? Or are there like 5 different parallels that are out of 5 too? Now, when it comes to Gretzky autos, I don't think it's as huge of an issue because they typically don't have hundreds of Gretzky auto parallels in sets, and they tend to make them tougher to get anyways, but that's just something to look out for. And then, of course, the last is grading scarcity. So that's like in the case of the 1998 SP Authentic Sign of the Times, where you're looking for a low pop, and the more scarce the card is, the more, whether it's actual or perceived, probably the better long-term value potential that card has. Okay, I'm exhausted. So can you guys think of any factors or criteria that I didn't mention that would be important to you when trying to pick the right Gretzky auto?
I have seen 2 types of Gretzky autos that are pretty different, where he doesn't write the after the Wayne as long. I don't see it too often, but there are the 2 different. I like his long signature, his long upward trajectory, like the Nike swoosh signature. There are a few different. Yeah.
I haven't noticed that. Have you noticed that, Troy?
I have not, but I'm wondering. I was trying to look back at one of these pictures. I can't find it. I thought one of them, maybe one of those in-person auto ones, showed it weird, but yeah, that definitely be something too. It's which one do you like better?
It's after,
Actually,
and I always
that's
thought,
for personal, right? But not for value. It's
no, not for value, just for me. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I love that. Every Canadian loves that autograph, and we all know what it is. So
yeah.
So to kind of, because I wanted to try to like put all these together for people, and what I did to make all this hopefully make a little bit more sense is I came up with 3 examples weighing all those decision points and criteria that we just went through that for my taste and my opinion would kind of meet the criteria what I've been looking for. And just as I guess, to illustrate an example of how you could put all this together, and then we'll get your guys' comments if you think I'm on track from your tastes or off track, or you can throw in other examples as well. So there's 3 different types of cards that I would look for. The first are plain days autos that have high grade and low pop count. So we've already showed the example, but we'll go back to it. This is like, I would love to own this card. It's the 1998 SP Authentic Gretzky Sign of the Times Auto 10 or PSA 10 Auto 10. And I think here's what this card is going for. It's a plain days card. It's pack pulled. It's from a highly regarded set in SP Authentic. It's pop 4, so it's very scarce. And I think it's a great looking card. And there's just little nuances of this card that I love. The Lady Liberty logo that he's wearing on his jersey is one of my favorite Rangers logos. And the auto is in a clean, nice, open spot on the card, which makes it very enjoyable for that perspective. So do you guys, agree with the logic behind this?
Big fan. Great card. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the second would be post-retirement cards that are beautifully designed and come from key sets. And this is a little bit maybe more subjective, but I took this example of 2021-22, the Cup, the show. And I think it's from the Cup. The design is so clean and appealing in my mind. The auto is the focal point of the auto. The card seems designed around the auto. And so if you're going to have a Gretzky auto, that I think that is important. Wayne is in his Oilers uniform on the card. It is tough to hit the pack odds. And again, a pack is a basically a hobby box of the Cup. 1 in 171 tins. So, of a post-career card, this is the type that I would, and these go for a lot, right? And I think that rightfully so. What do you guys think about this one?
Banger. Beautiful. And I don't like landscape cards that often, but that's a nice one. I would want that.
Mm-hmm. Troy, you have an opinion on it?
Yeah, this one, it's like you said, it's clean. I like how it's not busy. I love everything. Plus, it's got the blue tux, so I like it.
And then the last type of... Oh, go ahead.
So, Josh, I just think you made a really good point. They designed this card around the autograph, and I love that. That's awesome. Very, very easily seen.
For the last type of Gretzky auto that I would consider, I'm kind of come around like you, Phil, over the last year, and I would look at certain buybacks. But in my mind, it has to be perfectly executed. Like, we've had 2 examples of buybacks already in this conversation. I can't remember which one is, like, from the hologram one with the bad blue pen, and then we've had the 1991 Upper Deck, right? And I think that not all buybacks are created equal. And so here's another one I really liked is this 2019 buyback of his 2016 Upper Deck canvas.
Yeah.
Where the card itself is awesome. The auto doesn't, and buybacks are tricky because these cards were not designed to be autographed. And so there has to be a spot to fit the auto there on the card. It's a gold ink auto, and those seem to always, capture a lot of attention. People seem to love those in the hobby. Again, the hand numbering for me is a nice touch. It's out of 10 and scarce. And then again, it's a PSA 10. The auto isn't graded. But I think in this case, it's a really great example of a Gretzky auto that I could buy feeling confident that I could get good money for it down depending where the market is down the road. What do you guys think about this one?
Yeah, this card is fantastic. And I'll tell you what does it for me on this card when you zoom in. The gold ink, whatever they have in here, like it looks like it's like sparkly, or it looks like they almost ripped out part of the card, and this is like in the background. I love whatever pen they use. Like, that stuff is the stuff I really like, especially, and then they do it with the numbering too. So this card's fantastic.
What do you think, Phil?
I think it's beautiful. The baby blue on the bottom, the gold auto. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. Big fan.
Well, that was a lot. Did we learn anything? Hopefully it helps people. I just keep coming back to there's so many choices, and that it's definitely if it's a card you want, like I do, you don't have to jump at the opportunity necessarily right in front of your face, because there's a lot of options out there. And so I think it is worth kind of doing your own research, kind of trying to determine what factors are important to you so that you pick the right one. It's just like buying a Gretzky rookie card, right? There's so many thousands that have been graded that you want to do a little bit of, you want to kind of maybe avoid the impulse buy there. But I don't know, what are your guys' takeaways?
I think you did a great job, Josh, simplifying something very complicated. You also, yeah, that's the way I'll leave it at that. You simplified something that could be very complicated.
Yeah, I like that you gave like the whole breakdown, the characteristics, because at the end of the day, it's if you're looking at value, this is the stuff you look at. Whereas if I want a Gretzky card, I don't give a rip about the value. I just personally going to get the one I like the most that I think looks cool, stature, and then I'm going to just do that. But if you're actually going for value and getting or if you're buying it and trying to have an increase in value, these are the characteristics you have to look for. Like, you're not going to buy the thick marker that's black that's on a black card. That looks ridiculous. So I'm all in. Good job.
Totally agree. So if anyone has any other ideas on things that you think are important to choosing the right Gretzky auto, let us know. If you have any recent pickups that maybe this conversation helped you, definitely send those to us. We'd love to see what you pick up as well, whether it's on Discord or messaging us through social media or YouTube comments. Again, would love to hear from you. Okay, we're going to move on. New product releases. In a couple of days, we have a huge set coming out. Or I think, more ice is becoming, I think, more and more important. And of course, it's the Bedard rookie year, 2023-24. The checklist is out. It's been out for a little bit, and we've teased this a little bit. But so we're going to spend the day looking at the reviewing the checklist, looking at some of the key cards, doing a little bit, getting our review of the card designs as well. So I don't know, how would you guys describe where ice fits in the spectrum of hockey releases? I think it's traditionally been seen as more of a lower end product, but I think in the last couple of years, primarily because the exquisites has been becoming a little bit more important. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I call it, I would always thought it was like a lower end. Now to me, it's mid tier, maybe lower mid tier, but it's mid tier and it still has a terrible logo.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Where do you put it, Phil? Like, where do you rank it?
I could care less about the entire product. I want my exquisite cards. That's all I care about. Have you seen the new Bedard? Oh my God, it's absolutely gorgeous. That's the only reason I'd buy the box. That's all I want. The exquisite cards. You can have all the other weird stuff.
So it's a meat suit for your exquisite cards, essentially.
Yeah, it's a meat suit for that. Yeah, it's a meat suit for this meat vehicle. Yeah.
All right, well, we're gonna dig in. You guys ready, Phil? You scared?
I can't wait. I can't wait for Phil's reaction to the base card. That's what I want.
Okay.
I'm so excited, Josh. Let's get going. I have my pen and ready to take notes.
Well, there's 3,381 unique cards in 2023-24 Upper Deck Ice. All odds stated on the checklist provided by Upper Deck are for hobby, so keep that in mind. There's been retail too in the past years for Ice. I'm assuming they're going to do it again this year because, again, it's Bedard's rookie year, but not 100% sure because there's nothing that mentioned retail on the checklist we got from Upper Deck. So, but we'll assume that it'll come. Now, 2023-24 Upper Deck Ice has a base set containing 255 cards, which is kind of weird. We'll get to that in a second. Odd number for a base set. The first 100 are veterans. Now, do you guys ever remember a base set with a horizontal card?
I saw Phil's reaction.
They're all horizontal?
They're horizontal.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
I don't, but I'm sure there's been some. But that was like literally when I was loading up the pictures and it said base card. I went to our file and I saw the base card. I'm like, put it on here. I'm like, I was so confused. I'm like, what is going on? And then I saw your next part about base set horizontal cards. I don't know. I mean, it's something different.
Is it like a cracked ice or something? Like, is that what the squiggly line is supposed to be? Like the pond is cracking.
I think it's just the design, but I actually don't mind it because it's trying something different.
It is.
Why not experiment with base cards and make them a little bit more interesting?
Agree 100% with that. What I don't like, and I can't stand when they use the same picture twice. And this is what they do. They zoomed in on his face. Even I hate it when they do it on the backs of cards too. They'll use the card from the picture from the front and zoom in. I get why. But the logo is integrated, so it looks fine, I guess. But stop doubling up the picture. I don't like that.
Okay, good observation. Well, there's a number of parallels too. You can get a green, which is 1 and 2 hobby, purple 1 and 6, blue ice 1 and 144. So there's the blue ice parallel, Phil. Yeah, you're right. It is the same.
I
It's
see
just
it.
like,
Yeah.
it's like in that, like in comedies where they do that like really funny cut shot to the close up. And then there's grayscale out of 99.
Ooh.
Do you guys like black and white cards? Like, is that like a fun parallel to you, or you no?
If it's done right, I like the black and white future watches from the Legend set. I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I liked canvas black and whites. I thought those were
Ooh, yes, Troy. Yeah, good call.
Then there's Black 101, which is hobby. So
Yeah.
that's cards 1 to 100 veterans. Then you have rookies, which are 101 to 150. So a 50 rookie set, which is good. You get one per pack, essentially. There's a green 1 and 3 hobby, purple 1 and 12 hobby, blue ice 1 and 216 hobby. There's a grayscale out of 99, and again, the black 101. Then again, you have the ice premieres. So there's actually 2 different rookie cards in the base set, which I think is pretty interesting. Ice premieres are the big chase. They're the acetate rookie cards that you find in ice. I don't know. There's 100 of these. So there's 50 of the regular base rookies and 100 of the ice premieres. Don't love that. That means there's going to be a lot of not very exciting hits that you're going to see. There's tiers to ice premieres. So there's out of $9.99, out of $7.99, out of $4.99, out of $2.49, and out of $99. It's just like an over-exaggerated version of like Cup RPAs, where there's the $2.49 and $99 tier. So traditionally, the ice premieres base out of $99 are the big rookie chase cards from the set. Now this year, there's 10 players on the checklist. That would be Bedard, Kevin Krasinski, Ridley Gregg. You're Ridley Gregg, got 99 status, Phil.
Yeah,
Adam
awesome.
Fantilli, Luke Evangelista, Luke Hughes, Logan Cooley, which we're looking at on YouTube. So there's the ice premieres out of 99. Matthew Nyes, Matthew Poitras, and then Leo Carlson. Now, this is my biggest complaint with ice, and it's been a couple years like this now, and I honestly think they have to stop this because it drives me crazy. No matter the tier, all of the ice premieres cards have the following parallels. There's a blue out of $7.99. So the Connor Bedard ice premieres, the base is out of 99. He has a blue out of $7.99 parallel.
Yeah.
I just think it's super confusing, and it waters everything down, and it creates tons of, and the other way too, right? So actually it's probably better or more stark looking at this the other way. If you've got like the lowest tier rookie out of $9.99, they have a out of like $7.99, $2.99, $25, and a 101 parallel, right? So you can get like so actually like the Connor Bedard base out of 99 would be a way bigger card than out of $9.99 tiered rookie who has a out of 25 parallel. I get confused even saying this. I don't, it's, and you look back like to 2005 ice where you had the Crosby and Ovechkin out of 99s. Those were huge cards. Like those were major rookie cards back in the day. And that's kind of I get it. There's the exquisite in ice, but that is sort of like the foundation of this set. And it's being over paralleled. Oh, maybe that's a term for a show. Over paralleled. I don't know. But does that bug you guys like me or no?
Yep. But you said it perfectly. I guess I live with it, but it drives me nuts.
And then now remember, we said there's 255 cards in the base set. So there's also the last 5 cards are extended rookies. Here's what I think they did is that the ice premieres are the big chase cards. You have the extended, you have the regular rookie cards. And I think what they did is they took the top 5 rookies. So in this case, Bedard, Cooley, Fantilli, Leo Carlson, and Zach Benson, I guess. I know they gave up on Yaroslav Askarov in the top slot. And kind of made those cards a little bit harder to get. So there are 1 in 60 pack odds. There is a 99 out of 99 grayscale, that black and white parallel for those two. And so it's just the base rookie tougher to get for the top 5 people. So that's the base set. Are we confused?
We are confused. We lost Phil, but
All right.
I think we just keep trucking on.
Okay, we're back from like the 17th pause. We just have to, I guess, peel back the curtain here. Anything you could possibly think of has gone wrong in recording this show. I mean, this is an exercise in stick-to-itiveness for us. I can't even remember the list now at this point. We've lost internet in multiple people. Phil's in a car. He's had fireworks. We've had it started raining. Our audio wouldn't match up. We've had dogs barking.
Dogs barking.
More has gone wrong on this show than I think anyone we've ever had. So it's kind of we're at the point where we're no longer mad. We're just laughing at it. So now back to the conversation on ice. What do we think about the base set? Any thoughts?
I'll say this. I like the horizontal. Just try something new, see if it works, see what the hobby thinks. But I don't like the whole parallel thing. It's confusing. I don't have time to study it. It just doesn't make sense to me. But I don't mind the look of the cards. I think the cards themselves look pretty decent, except for the repeating of the headshots, basically. But
yeah,
that's what I got.
All right, we're gonna look at auto sets now. There's 12 different auto sets in 2023-24 ice.
Okay,
we're not gonna go through all 12, but we're gonna highlight a few. There's a rookie auto subset. Now, these are 1 in 140 pack odds. The bigger rookies are short printed. So that'd be like Luke Hughes and Brock Faber are probably the biggest names. There's no Bedard, Fantilli, Cooley, or Carlson, though. I know. There's no big name rookies in the rookie auto set because they are in the extended rookies auto set.
Makes no sense. So there's a rookie auto set and an extended rookies auto set.
Just make it more confusing. So no worries, they are an extended, but these are 1 in 350, and then of course that includes Bedard, Cooley, Fantilli, and Carlson. He likes it again, but guys, Bedard and Leo Carlson are super short print. There's also base red autographs with 67 players on or 76 players on the checklist. It's a mix of rookies and vets. Here's an example of Dustin Wolf. These are kind of cool.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool card.
Yeah. All are numbered out of 5. Glacial Graphs is another one that I think these look pretty cool. Pictured on YouTube if you're watching is Wyatt Johnston. These are a little bit thick marker, but silver auto on black, which is kind of cool. Here's another example from the solicitation of Matthew Tkachuk. Now, Phil, you're gonna like this one. So he signed it and inscribed Brady's brother on it. I hope that because sometimes the cards on the solicitations don't actually end up in the set. I really, really hope that that there are cards like this, because that when you add those little touches like that inscription, I think it just takes it to a whole new level. I assume this is one you would love to have, huh, Phil?
Absolutely, yeah. I kind of want to start collecting Matt Tkachuk. He's so cheap, and this would be a great start if I saw that card.
There's 19 players on that checklist. All are young stars and legends, but no rookies. Some, like McDavid, are super short print. There's a black 101 parallel, but just a note, there's no McDavid on that one. Now, Ice Premiers, which we've already talked about, does have an auto set as well. There's 41 rookies on the checklist. All are numbered either out of 199, 99, 49, or 25. Weirdly, though, Bedard is out of 199. So that doesn't follow like the typical where the bigger chase has the smaller serial number. I don't know like why like Askarov is out of 49, Bedard's out of 199, but I guess that gives more people Bedard cards to hit. There's a Sub-Zero card that has autos, a blue. There's 2 of them. There's a blue and a green. Blue has 10 players on the checklist. All are rookies. 1 in 320 pack odds. Bedard and Luke Hughes are short printed here. There's a green variant too. 5 players on the checklist. Like it's Nyes, Luke Hughes, Tyson Forrester, Luke Evangelista, and Bedard. All are out of 25. These look pretty cool to me. I mean, typically I'm not a big fan of like insert autos, but I kind of dig this one. What do you guys think of it?
I think it looks cool. I'd like to see it in hand,
it's
the picture's fine. Yeah.
The other thing, I don't know if you've noticed so far, but it seems like all autos are hard side too in this set, which I think could be a big.
Oh.
This is a card with with the tier that Ice is in, that I think you would I would expect this card to be a sticker auto, wouldn't you? But it's not.
Well, are we for sure they're not? Like
Okay,
sometimes
let's zoom in.
No, I'm just saying sometimes the pictures
It's sneaky.
when they're photoshopped in or what we've seen where we've gotten burned before thinking they weren't stickers and they were. So it doesn't look like it, but we'll see when it comes out.
Mm-hmm. All right, now we're on to the auto mem cards, right? So the first one we'll look at are the Ice Premier auto patches. These look really cool. Is that a sticker?
See, that's what it
that
doesn't
just,
look like it.
No, I think it's just the design of the card.
Yeah.
These cards are really nice. And this is a Marco Casper we're looking at from the Red Wings. Red Wings have some awesome patches, of course. There's 35 cards in total. All are out of 10. So they're tough hits. No Bedard, unfortunately, or Cooley, Fantilli, or Carlson.
What are you doing? Well, that's silly.
I don't know. Yeah.
Why would they do that? That's so silly. You got to have the big superstars in there. Come on, guys.
All right. There's a black 101 parallel too, but the checklist is a little bit different. 29 of the 35 players for this card have the black 101. Next is signature swatches. 11 cards on the checklist. Tough pack odds 1 in 576. All our vets. There's a black parallel with 8 of the 11 players. These are all out of 15. The black parallel. I just love the gold.
It's the best card I've seen so far. By far.
Yes, Troy. I totally agree. Best card I've seen.
Yeah, this is great. It's Ilya Sorokin. Nice patch. Auto looks amazing. The gold foiling of the logos actually complement the card.
Yeah.
So there we go. All right, there's a few additional memorabilia cards. Only one of which we'll review quickly. The base gold patch. These are 103 cards total. Some have autos too, so some are just patches, some are autos. I would say about 50% have the auto. These are in hobby only. They're either out of 99, 49, 25, or 10. Pictured as Phil's guy, AM34 with a nice patch auto card.
Yeah, nice mustache, buddy.
There we go.
That's a real mustache.
And again, it looks like another on-card auto. So I think most of the evidence we've seen so far points to that. And then there's another example from Phil's favorite team, the rookie Matthew Nyes out of 49.
He looks older than Marner already.
There we go. Okay, now we got to get on the inserts. And some of these are a little crazy. So I'm excited to get your guys' input on them. First of all, is Depth of Winter, which is kind of wild. It's a die-cut card that looks like a tall pyramid. There's 65 players on the checklist. It's broken up by vets and rookies. Vets are 1 in 6 pack odds, so it's a little more common. Rookies are 1 in 13. There are parallels. There's the White Frost out of 199 and the Blue Frost out of 25. So I don't know. You guys dig stuff like this or no?
Oh, I dig stuff like this, but this one's terrible. Like I feel like they had a bunch of leftover guitar pick cards, or they just tried to shoehorn those into making these. I don't like guitar pick card. I liked because I get it. It's a guitar pick. Yeah. Depth of Winter with this triangle thing. I don't know what we're going for. That's why I don't know
what the theme is. Yeah.
Yeah.
What does a guitar pick have to do with hockey?
Oh, it's fun though.
Yeah.
No, so that's silly. So is eating donuts. Why would mind a donut
hockey players play guitar?
Does Sidney Crosby play guitar?
He might. Plays piano.
Probably not. They just have time.
That's not a guitar pick though. This is just it's just a weird shape. Okay, we got to move on. Frozen.
No. Hold on. They're saving money on this card because if you have 2 of these cards, that's the dimensions of 1 card. So they saved half the cost in printing. You put them upside down like that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Frozen and Ice are the rip cards that we find in Upper Deck Ice. There's 50 total cards. Every example is a Leaf player. I don't know if Upper Deck is trying to get in your head, Phil. What do you think here?
They can't get in my head. I live in their head rent free.
All right. Well, there's 50 total rip cards, 1 in 29 pack odds. There are gold out of 25 and black out of 5 parallels. Are you guys rip or no rip when you get one of these?
Rip every time.
What about you, Phil?
Like the pack of cards? If someone gave me a pack of ice cards?
These cards you can rip in half. Like
they're the ones on the back.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm ripping them. Yeah, ripper.
Yeah. I am rip 100%, then I instantly regret it. Because I've never gotten a good card on the inside. Okay, now we got to move on to our second kind of crazy insert, die cut insert, Snowmen. There's 60 cards on the checklist. Stars and rookies, 1 in 60 hobby pack odds. There are legends.
Legends.
1 in 120 pack. And the legends checklist is pretty stacked. You got like Gretzky, Howe, Lemieux, Waugh, Bossy, Yager, etc. What do we think of Snow? Okay, now if you had to choose a card to get, a Snowman or one of the, what was it called? The Depth of Winter? Kind of pyramid
Snowman
card.
all the way.
Snowman all the way, for sure.
Yes, Troy. I kind of like it. It's Christmassy. Yeah.
All right, there you go. Okay, it's been long enough, right? And Phil can't wait any longer. We got to get to the main event here. The exquisite sets in 2023-24 ice. Now there's 6 exquisite sets. We're going to start with the biggie out of the gate, the 0304 rookie auto patch cards. Here it is, Phil.
Yeah, look at that. Wow. What a card, man. Woo.
There are 15 players on the checklist. There is Bedard, but there are no Cooley, Fantilli, or Carlson. Yeah, I don't know. We're showing the Bedard from the Upper Deck Gallery, and holy moly, is this a sweet card. The base are all out of 25. There's a gold out of 5 version, but no Bedard or Simon Edvinsson out of 5. And then there's also a black 101. No Edvinsson, Brock Faber, or Pelletier from the who's he from? The so yeah. I wonder what the black ones look like.
There's a Bedard 101 black.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the card, boys. That's the card.
Yeah, that would go for some cheddar there. Next is Future Legacy Quad Material Autos. That's a mouthful. There's 10 cards, hobby only, base out of 49. All are rookies. Bedard, Faber, Luke Hughes are the biggest names. There is a gold out of 10 parallel. Here's the Brock Faber. I think what they did here is, again, this is probably like Fight Strap or something like that. I hate when they like make these patches. It looks like they almost like forgot the patch in the card. But yeah, I don't know.
This doesn't belong in ice, man. This should be in the cup.
Yeah. It's crazy. Okay, then there's Veterans and Legends patch auto set called Material Signatures. So there's 15 players on the checklist, hobby only. Pictured as Luke Robitaille. Our good friend California Dave would probably be very much into this card. Base are numbered out of 65, 49, 25, or 10. There is a gold parallel out of 5. There's a black 101 too. Here's the Patrick Waugh black 101 if you're watching on YouTube. That's a pretty sweet card.
Troy, same jersey, same car, same picture. Finally.
Yeah, that's like a not very common with Waugh, actually. And then finally, there's exquisite rookies, which are non-auto, non-mem cards. There's 50 rookies on the checklist. Base are out of 499. There's a platinum blue parallel out of 299, gold spectrum of 25, and black 101. And then there's rookie autos from exquisite to gold out of 25, black 101. Yeah. So again, big set. Now it's time to play one of our favorite games. You catching up here, Troy?
Yep.
Duck, duck, goose.
Yep. Favorite games. It's called Guess the Bedards. Okay, guys. How many unique Connor Bedard cards are in 2023-24 Upper Deck Ice? Troy, we're going to let you go first.
I already know. I accidentally saw it.
Oh,
Well, don't say anything. Let me guess.
I won't.
32.
Dang, these guess games you're really good at, but not quite. 35.
35.
Oh, I'm pretty close. I'll take it. Yeah, that's good.
And I think there's been like almost 50 in most sets, so a little bit less in this one. Okay, so what would you expect if you go out in a day or two and pick up a hobby box of 2023-24 Ice? Well, there's 12 packs per box, 6 cards per pack, 1 autograph or memorabilia card per box, 1 Sub-Zero card per box, at least 2 Ice Premier rookie acetate cards, and 3 Depths of Winter weird pointy.
We're going with that. That's the key hit they're going with. 3 Depths of Winter cards. Where's the snowman? Give me 3 snowmen.
And why is Depths of Winter?
I like the snowman. I'm with you, Troy.
Game of Thrones, maybe? Is it trying to do Game of Thrones?
No, but depth is deep.
The North remembers.
You guys are, but the card is going up.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
looks like a suppository.
Whoa. Different show, Phil. Different show.
Sorry.
Pre-sales.
After hours.
For 2023-24, Upper Deck Ice in the United States of David Adams going for $200 US per box.
That's
Now,
what I was waiting for. No.
2022-23 Ice, so last year it debuted at 125 and is now selling for 80. So it started at 125, now 80. Yeah. So a pretty big jump year over year. In Canada, you can get your pre-sales at Mint Inc. Pre-sale pricing is currently at $250 Canadian. So that's 185 US equivalent. So again, I guess Mint Inc. in Canada for the win. It's always a better deal lately in Canada. Canadians get all the fun hockey stuff, Phil, I guess.
We do, yeah.
All right, so that's tons of stuff. What do we think about Ice? You guys let me know your thoughts. Are you in? Are you out? Are you buying boxes? Are you buying singles? What are you doing?
I'm so close to really liking Ice, but I like the Ice Premieres. I like the patch cards. I don't like the other silly stuff. I do like the snowman. It reminds me of the doggy one that Troy likes. I just really want my exquisite. Like, obviously the price is $200 because they're slamming the Bedard exquisites in there. That's the reason, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, exactly. So that's so silly. So put them in the cup. That's what I gotta say.
Troy,
I am on board with it. I like it. I like what I've seen. I am not on board with the price, so I will not buy any until they go down.
All right. Got to make a quick mention for Gongshow partner and sponsor Fanatics Collect. We are thankful for their support of our show. It's been like 3 days now, guys, without a major Fanatics Collect announcement. Like, weird. When we're putting together, like, honestly, like when we put together the show, I go through these panic moments where, like, I better check like Instagram or X quickly to see if something dropped in the past hour. And it really is amazing how much they've changed the game already and are raising the bar for the whole hobby. So, yeah. And don't sleep on last week's announcement. Again, that's starting September 16th. Fanatics Collect will be offering on-site grading in Oregon in partnership with CGC. It'll be pretty much an immediate turnaround, like 1 day grading. Then you can have the cards, put them in the weekly auction right away in the Buy Now Marketplace, or just store them in your Fanatics Collect vault. And if you're ridiculously wealthy, like have multiple private jets like Troy, you might want to join him September 24th for the Holy Grails live auction. Or you can be like me and just watch from the cheap seats, probably online. It'll be amazing either way, right, Troy?
It will be fantastic.
Remember, you can buy amazing hockey cards 24/7, 365 in the Buy Now Marketplace. And then finally, the current Fanatics Collect weekly auction is live. Ends this upcoming Sunday night. On Thursday's show, as we always do, we'll preview our favorite vintage and modern cards. So again, check out fanaticscollect.com. Mailbag! First question. We're just rolling right into it, boys. Discord, Rally SC. Curious on your thoughts on Tim Stützle. To me, his play last year didn't warrant the amount of hype his cards get. Since Phil watched a lot closer than I did, what does he think of Timmy Stu, or Timmy Tantrums, as we like to call him? Where do you see him going as a player and as a hobby darling? Okay, Phil.
Yeah, I'd love to answer this.
All right, we're back. Phil, what did you just do?
I'm sorry.
Well, tell everybody you got excited about Timmy Stews and you knocked your phone, your whole setup over. So.
I'm a hand talker and I knocked my phone off. I'm sorry, so we're just gonna have to reset it. Yeah.
All right, so continue. What do you think of Timmy Stützle this year?
Timmy's going to do great. This is a really big year for him. We got Travis Green as a coach. He's going to give discipline. We have like 25 new staff for just the team management. Timmy is going to excel with the strength that has been given around him. Do I know that for sure? No, I don't. He is an absolute superstar. His skill is unparalleled. He's by far the best senator on a skill level. Okay. And he's going to be on a phenomenal team. He has the coaches in place. He doesn't know if he's going to be a center or a wing. I personally like him as center, but I think he'll pop more goals in as a winger. So if Josh Norris can stay healthy or Shane Pinto can step up, Timmy Stützle will excel. From a hobby point of view, is it risky? Yes, but now's the time to buy his cards because they're the lowest they've been. So from a hobby standpoint, I would pick them up in the next 2-3 weeks. So I'm collecting Stützle as much as I can personally, but obviously I have a biased opinion.
All right, great answer. We're going to move on. Discord 86 collects. When will producer Louie and Phil make the Gong Show intro video? Oh, I could answer like my dad and say, well, when they've earned it, but they have. The real answer is when we get around to updating it, which who knows at this point, right? Right, Troy? Well,
Yeah,
we'll
we
see.
gotta find some pennies. Find some pennies behind those boxes.
All right, California Dave. Always has great questions. My question comes with a photo. I noticed when you're bidding on a card on eBay, you can see the history of the bids. A lot of times there will be multiple bids in consecutive order as the picture shows. Is this because someone keeps bidding to drive the price up, or is this a case where they just put in a max bid and each time they get a higher bid but not higher than their max bid, so it just adjusts up? So you got the picture here?
No, there was no picture in our folder. So here's what's going on. It just shows the same person bidding over and over again. You'll see the price keep going up. What I think happens, and I think he kind of alludes to this, is when you're basically you're bidding against someone that's like got a max bid that's more than you. And so you're going against them, and that every time you go up in your bid, they go ahead of you with their max bid. But it just looks like they keep bidding up and up and up. We've done it all. I've done it before. It's called string bidding, where I'm trying to I bid where I'm trying to see where their max is, and I don't do it anymore. I used to do it just to see, like, for my own personal knowledge where they're at, and then at the end put a big max bid to try to get the card. But I think that's what's happening. So
okay, I think you're right. Move on. Fan mail, Hannah. I want to know what you think of 2023-24 Upper Deck EPAC achievement cards, and if the Bedard retro exclusive and his first auto are worth the effort. Is he talking about the star rookies? I think maybe this one. I'm not sure exactly the card, Hanif, you were talking about. If it is, I totally dig this card. I'm not typically like an EPAC kind of person or like the unique cards there, but I'd probably just buy it on the secondary market. Right? These achievements seem like crazy. Like you'd have to spend.
Yeah, it seems like you have to spend
all the money on Earth,
right?
So you don't remember our group chat a few weeks ago? This was on COMC, not a high gloss, but an exclusive, a star rookie exclusive. The guy had it for 500 American, and I asked, on COM you can bid a penny, and you can see what their lowest bid that they might accept, and it was 250. He accepted it. I got a Connor Bedard exclusive star rookie for 250 American. I actually think it was like 228 USD. I don't know. Check the group chat. But I got that bad boy coming to Louis' house.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Instagram, Kevin B. Smith. 2024-25, the year to invest in the San Jose Sharks. You have Celebrini, Will Smith, William Eklund, Sam Dickinson, and now Yaroslav Askarov. Seems like a lot of solid young players giving us reason to actually hope to pull Sharks players from packs now. Troy, what do you think?
Oh, I'm loving the Sharks lately. They're making some good moves. They're still not going to make the playoffs, and I don't think you want them to make the playoffs if you're a Sharks fan, because you give them one or two more high draft picks, they're gonna start something there. They're doing something really good, and they got some good young players. But again, they're all young. But I do like what the Sharks are doing.
Yeah, I think get ready for big prices on breaks for pick your team for San Jose Sharks.
For sure.
Instagram, the Ray Borg collection. The Bedard 101 outburst hasn't surfaced yet. Do you think Upper Deck knows what cases it puts its hits in like this? I don't know if it's too tinfoil hatty to think that they do, but I kind of feel like that they might know. What do you think, Troy?
I hope not. I think that would really hurt integrity if they knew where it was. Because then I always look back, we've talked about it before, the McDonald's Monopoly pieces where there was one guy that could tell you where everything was and he was given to his friends. I hope they don't. But we've always asked too, it's like, what happens? Because we know they do if they did like a quality control and they pulled it from the quality control box, what happens?
Instagram, cracking some cards. Are printing plate cards very valued by collectors? They're not the same level as other 101s, and maybe if done correctly, but I don't know. Phil, are you into printing plate cards? Do you think the hobby values them?
They're cool. I don't think the hobby values them, but when you pull one from a pack, you kind of get addicted to it, right? You kind of like, ooh, these are pretty cool. I'm going to see what else is out there, right?
What do you think, Troy?
They're worth money to the right collector for sure, but they're definitely not on the scale of other 101s, like you said.
Instagram 306HC. Would you prefer a 3 or 4 color chunky patch card or a rookie patch auto with a napkin patch? Phil, will you go first? Which would you choose?
Oh, that's a hard one. Depends on the player. I'll take the easy answer. I don't know. I'd probably go with a 3-4 color patch. Yeah.
All right, I'm the other way. I'm RPA because I'm an auto snob.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going with the 3 to 4. I like my patches chunky, so I'm going there.
Nice.
That's what I like there. Instagram Sasky says, "Boys, I'm up here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, looking at my autographs and realize how lazy some of these autos are. I started thinking of the top 5 autos in the game. Teemu Selanne is my top pick for nicest autograph. Gretzky, Crosby, McDavid, Hasek are some of my favorite looking autos. What about you guys?" To me, Wayne is the GOAT of hockey and the GOAT of autographs, so I'm going to make it easy and go there. Phil, do you got an answer?
I think Steve Yzerman might be one of my favorite autos.
Okay. What about you, Troy?
Sidney Crosby, Maurice Richard, and I've always liked Yari Curry's also.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Instagram, Ben D. Mitchell. Please talk about President's Choice cards. Most creative and unique cards in the hobby. What do you think about President's Choice, Phil? Or Troy, sorry.
Well, let's say you found the blind spot in our show. Yes, we do not give unlicensed products a lot of mention. Leaf or President's Choice or those other things. We've talked about them for sure in the past, just not a lot. But part of that too is, I mean, Josh, you can correct me if I'm wrong. We might have gotten 5 questions ever on Leaf or President's Choice or Be a Player. Actually, we get more questions on Be a Player just because those are kind of a unique spot in the hobby where the NHLPA put out cards at the beginning with but like President's Choice and Leaf, we don't get a lot of stuff. But this is a segment idea. Maybe we do an unlicensed segment at some point.
Oh.
We did a long time ago in one of the Hockey Card 101s. We talked about the unlicensed products. Obviously, we didn't go a deep dive or anything, but maybe it's a deep dive segment coming up in the future. Maybe I'll do this one.
Do you know? Can I say something about President's Choice? The problem is if you're in Canada, there's a grocery store called Loblaws, and Loblaws' main brand, house brand, is called, wait for it, President's Choice. Geez. I can't buy a hockey card that says President. And there's some really nice cards, but I just think of Loblaws. I think of like chocolate cake and like cookies.
I can't believe it's a store called Loblaws.
Yeah. Do you want to know who invented it? Bob Loblaw.
That's from freaking Arrested Development. Bob blah blah.
Bob blah blah. And Dick Monalds.
Yeah. What I would add to this is it's not intentional, but it never really crosses our radar. Like you never see a President's Choice. I don't ever see sales on eBay. Maybe a lot of them don't get sold. We don't see like the releases. And so it's a little bit out of mind. And then we definitely have a bias towards licensed cards, but yes, we should branch out and we will make it a point to do a little bit more of that. All right. Instagram, Knucklehead36. He has 2 questions. He said, what do you think of the unfortunate death of Johnny, or how do you think the unfortunate death of Johnny Gaudreau will impact his hobby market? Troy, you had an answer.
Oh, I don't want to answer this yet. I mean, here, I'll give you the general thought real quick on when deaths happen. Cards sell right away. They will be an increase. And we've seen it happen here. And I'll say this, I had, 6 months ago, I talked about where I finally put all my EPAC cards on my COM-C, and there was 2 Gaudreaus in there. They were listed for like $1. They both sold immediately. Yeah. So you definitely see it, and maybe we'll explore it later. I kind of feel queasy talking about it right now. Yeah.
Short term, they'll go up, and then how that affects the long term is a little bit unknown if people will move on, or you might have like the Pat Tillman effect where they still are pretty valuable. And then a very important second question. Did Phil ever have long hair?
I wish I was back in Ottawa. I could have given you a picture of Phil with hair. We'll show the next one. We'll show me with some hair. Yeah. No, I never had long hair, but I did have hair at one point.
Instagram, Hen Keo. He has 2 questions. Phil, does your cat ever get jealous of your hairy legs? Why is this a podcast about Phil's body hair at this point? But okay, answer the question.
Because there's a lot of it.
Okay. And then with your Greek origins, have you ever considered collecting basketball or soccer cards?
We're not very good in soccer. Yes, Euro Cup, I understand, but we're not very. No, I don't. I know basketball is big in Greece. I love Greek music. I love Greek food, but unfortunately, I do not collect basketball or soccer cards of Greek players.
Okay. Instagram stores 19. Hey guys, my question today is how do you guys go about larger deals like $1,000 plus in private sales? Do you send all the funds immediately and wait for the card? Say send half or 2/3 and send the rest of the cash once you receive the card. I'm in the process of making such a deal, but just wanted to know the right way and proper etiquette. And what I would say here, stores, is if you don't trust the person, then I would agree to pay the very small, like 3.5% fee for PayPal goods and services. I don't know if that works in Canada too, Phil, but then you
Yes.
get protected as a buyer,
Yeah.
not necessarily as a seller, but or I guess I don't know, but and then the other thing that is always recommended is if you've never done a deal with someone, don't do $1,000 deal.
Yeah.
For the first one. Do a series of smaller deals till you develop, because scammers are really lazy and they don't want to spend the time to develop a relationship and do a series of deals over 3 or 4 months they want to make money quick. And
Yeah,
so
they're not
that would
doing
be
the
my
long. They're not doing the long con in sports cards. Not probably not. Anyways, but Josh, touched to your point about the PayPal. A lot of sellers will go ahead of that and say, sure, PayPal is okay, but you have to do for friends and family. They're very pushy. Stick to your guns. If you are not comfortable making the deal, do not accept the person asking you to push for friends and family. Or like Josh said, say, can I meet you in the middle? If I do for goods and services, can I meet you in the middle on the 3.5%? And if they still say no, well, that's either a flag or you're just going to end up paying more for your card, but you're protected, right? How bad do you want the card?
And so goods and services protects the buyer, right?
Yeah.
Or does it? So that's one thing. I've always been of the ilk that the seller should pay that to show goodwill.
They won't
But-
though. Most people selling cards are not card bros, but I mean, let's be honest, they are. Most guys that say that to you right away, and Troy, they do.
Yeah.
I buy a lot of cards on Facebook, and especially a lot of Americans say good, not goods and services, friends and family. I fight back every time, but if I really want the card, I just eat that 3.5%.
Yeah,
if I
I
don't
hear
got
ya.
a good vibe, right? Yeah.
I feel like I'm so different. Like I would, if I was a seller, I would always pay the 3.5 just to, especially on a large amount. But
Well, you don't understand something you wouldn't do, so don't try and grasp it, right? Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna move on. Discord, Rimpy Rips. Happy Labor Day, my brothers. I'm one of those collectors that only collect licensed products. The other sports leagues are going crazy with, I think, the Topps Chrome releases of 101, like Victor Wembanyama cards that isn't licensed. Am I the only one that can't get behind $1 million blank jersey card? He says, addicted to the show. Well, thank you, Rimpy. Really appreciate that. I can't get behind that either. There's no way. I think whoever buys those in the short term is going to eat it in the long term, but maybe I'm wrong.
I lean with you, Josh.
yeah, I no interest.
Facebook, Jamie Wallace. Is Metal Universe release coming in the future? If not, will PMGs from 20, 21, 22 eventually increase in value again like 5, 10, 15 years down the road, similar to the 90s basketball? Well, it is coming. 2023-24 should come out this fall. You can pre-order it, so it has to be coming. So, yeah, I would guess late fall, early winter. Facebook, Dave Preston. Why do 90% of autographs on cards look like my dog has done it right-handed when he's actually left-handed?
That's funny.
Second auto question.
I'm convinced autos will continue to get worse because it's just how our society is going, right? Kids do not do handwriting in school. Cursive writing is going away. Everything's electronic, tablet, phone, blah, blah, blah. And signing signatures are going to look terrible going forward. It's just how we're going as a society, and it is what it is.
Didn't you guys? I was really excited. Being part of an adult is a rite of passage to have your own signature. I was very excited to develop my own signature. That doesn't seem to be a thing anymore, right?
I still to this day practice my autograph. Like just
I love it.
In meetings, if that's like my little doodle, I'll sit there and write my name and do different variations on how I would ever sign my autograph. I used to sign autographs in college. like twice. I think I ever got asked for my autograph in baseball, and it was hilarious. But it's just like I still do it to this day. No, but they don't do it anymore. I mean, cursive is a dying thing. So
Well,
Yeah, but it's an opportunity to make something unique for yourself. You know.
yeah.
If I had to defend an athlete, which I'm not saying they should be defended, but we also have you ever been forced to sign your name 4,000 times in a row?
No, God.
But I've never been paid to sign my name 4,000 times.
I get that. Well, but that's why I respect the heck out of a guy like Wayne Gretzky, who he's had to have signed his name 1,000,000 times. And I'm not exaggerating, like 1,000,000 times. And he still does it with, just so much care. And so, again, a lot to respect. Okay. Facebook, Andrew Shee. Over under on October 30th release date for SP Authentic. He said easy one this week. I'm taking over. I think it'll be later than. I think it'll be in November. But I have zero inside info. That's just my guess. Phil and Troy, are you taking over or under?
I hope it's before the expo, so the boxes of everything else can be cheaper. That's what I hope.
I'm going over. I think they don't want to, because the cup's coming out end of September, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna release it that close to the cup.
Okay. Instagram, Wood Table Hockey Cards. What's happening with Beckett and Panini? Feels like they just gave up.
Ooh, I didn't see this question.
Well, I think Panini's had some serious licensing issues, and Beckett just is not innovating, and everybody else is. And what happens is you get very quickly left behind. But I don't know, you guys have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I can't wait till Panini actually sends me my redemptions that have been there for like
Attaboy.
And I refuse to call them. I just want to, because I don't care really about the cards. I just want to see how long they sit.
Yeah. Case study.
Our good friend Seth, Instagram, Drop the Puck Cards. Phil, you know him well too.
Yeah.
With the sudden passing of Johnny Hockey, I've seen a bunch of posts in different groups and on Instagram about not selling any of his cards on their group, or people shaming about their accounts on Instagram for having some of his cards listed for sale. And my question is, what's the appropriate amount of time to wait to sell or trade his or any other player who has passed away his cards? And is a different amount of time depending on the circumstances, such as a player passing away at the age of 80 or a player passing away at the age of 30 in an accident? Also, I don't hear a lot of negativity about people buying these cards. So is it okay to buy cards of players that just passed away but not sell them? It seems like a double standard. I think the answer here, Seth, is, you just have to do with, if you're doing things for the right reasons in your mind, maybe you have some Johnny Gaudreau cards that you've never really appreciated and that maybe collectors would want, and you're listing them for a fair price, and you think that you can make someone happy or someone help to grieve his death or just feel better about collecting, then you're doing a very good thing, right? There's people out there that are price gouging, that are trying to profiteer, and I guess whatever makes you sleep well at night, I think it's kind of a personal decision, and I don't know if there's one solid right or wrong answer, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think it's totally personal. Here's how I answer this. Like, I look at myself and I wouldn't, I mean, maybe buying, if you think like some autos, you're thinking to yourself, oh, they're never going to come back. I mean, go ahead. Selling, that's up to you, man. If you want to sell and that's your gig, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't price gouge. I would feel too bad about myself, and I would just, it wouldn't sit well with me if I did it that way. But I have no problem if people want to do that, because that's their own individual decisions. I know, Josh, you mentioned this a lot of times, believer in karma, sometimes bad juju. Just, it's kind of it's a personal choice, like you said. I don't think there is no set time. Like, I can't sit there and be like 2 weeks and then you can go. No, it's whatever you want.
Yeah, again, it's like if you think you have, I have a couple Gaudreau cards I don't really see myself collecting, and hey, if people want to collect them, I'll throw them up for a fair price. Versus it's like, oh, Johnny died, I can triple the money on this card. It's just, I think it's the place you come at it from. Yeah. What do you think, though?
Yeah, ethics is personal, right? Your ethical reasons. If you want to sell the card, Seth, us three know you're a very good person, but you do what you feel. It's like, how do you act at a funeral? There's no right answer. Yeah. There's no right answer.
Instagram, Clem10. Hello from Athabasca, Alberta, Canada. I really appreciate the show. Well, thank you. It's been a nightmare today, but we're making through. We've had like 17 stops. It's crazy. I recently acquired 4 Wayne Gretzky 8182 Red Rooster promo cards that are still attached. Should I leave them this way or separate them? I would like to get at least one in a slab for my PC. If I do separate them, how should I do it? Thoughts? And he says, happy collecting. I would either very carefully separate by the perforations and maybe look up like YouTube videos, how to do it the best, or take it to a card shop or someone that knows. But I don't know if you knew this, Clem, but you can, or C-Lem, however you say your name, you can get them graded together. Here, it looks ridiculous. It's one of the funnier slabs I've ever seen. But it is possible because here's an example of the all 4 being graded. What you got? Want to do a slab review, Phil?
Yeah, no comment. No comment. It's kind of funny though. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I would look up too. I'd look up if your goal is to sell, like keep one and sell the rest. Just look up on eBay. Do they go for more being separated out, or can you find graded copies like this where there's all? Well, I guess you wouldn't have all 4 because you want to take one off and keep it for your PC. But that's another thing to do.
All right, Discord, Blade Visionary. Guys, I wanted to pay my deep respects for the tragic loss of the Gaudreau family. What is the right way to honor the loss of Johnny Gaudreau and other players who have left us too early in the hobby market? Too many people tend to capitalize on these players after their deaths, and it just seems wrong. I think it's like we just talked about. You know, you have to have your own value system and follow your own North Star. And you know, I've said this to my kids a lot, right? It's like, you know, in your gut when you've done something wrong because you feel it, and you don't feel that way when you know that you, based on your value system, you're doing something right, and so you just have to trust your value system. Is the way I would put it.
Yeah.
Facebook, Adam Luck. If you had $2K to spend on a single card, what would it be? Well, I'll go for his. I think I would look for a high eye appeal, low grade Gretzky OPG rookie. So meaning like a grade 3 or a grade 4, or whatever would be that price range.
I don't have a good answer to this. I'd probably try to look at 51 Parky because let's just keep picking at me. So I would probably look at a 51 Parky and see what I could find of a Hall of Fame player, but it'd probably be a really low grade. And see what I could do.
Phil,
I'd probably try to find another 1998 Gretzky refractor. That's probably what I would try to do because they go for about 2,500. So I'd try to hunt for one for 2K. Yeah.
Is that the set that nobody will vote for? And
that's the set nobody will vote for. Yes.
Okay.
Great job, everybody listening. Thanks for voting for Blast for the Past. I really appreciate you. You're a good listener. Really good. Ridiculous.
We're on our last question, but about the only thing that hasn't happened this show is a bear come through the window and eat you. So I'm half expecting.
You think I'd be scared if I was? There's only black bears around here. I'm not scared of a black bear.
Last question. Facebook, Phil LeBurge. Why did Upper Deck never place Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods autos and hockey card products all along? It would have been an easy way to promote their products to Americans. They could have made extremely scarce Jordan and Tiger Woods autos in every single set. Why would anyone complain? I don't know if you're alluding to this or not. A little unclear, but Upper Deck has done this in the Cup twice. 29-10 Sidney Crosby tributes, and then the 2015 The Show. Here's an example of the Tiger Woods from 2015 The Show. When we had Mitch Groppman on for our Cup Masterclass series, he'd mentioned that there were many complaints about this. Many complaints. Now, I don't know about you, but I would be pretty pumped to pull this out of a tin of the Cup rather than like a Trey Fix Wolanski auto. So, I don't know.
You leave Trey Fix alone.
Yeah, we got him worked up. Camera fell off again. I'll say this. I think the person asking the question, I think they just want to know why they haven't done it all the time.
Yeah.
And I guess, man, if they did this, if they do it again or they do it again in the future, they really have to make sure that this card is worth, it's a good, like a big card. Like Tiger Woods, yes, but you can't put someone else in there that's not worth very much, because I think that's when people would go ballistic.
Well, there was some like Bodie Miller, like, yeah, I mean, he was a great skier, but if
that's where it's like, but again,
Andre Agassi,
when
getting an Andre Agassi tennis one.
Yeah, when we did the Cup Masterclass with Mitch, and he brought this up, I was actually on the side of I think I'd be mad because I bought this Cup product and I got non-hockey player, but then Mitch took the other side that, well, hey, Tiger Woods auto is a really nice card, and I think I probably landed in between. Like, yeah, I can see your point.
Or Michael Jordan, but I could see like if
Yeah.
you're a Canadian and because I remember Bodie Miller was in that. I think he was anyways. That if you pull some like American Olympic skier, that I would be pretty livid at that point. But so I get that part.
I don't know who that is. Bodie Miller? I have no idea who that
he's
is.
He was like 10 years
Olympic,
ago in the
right?
Olympics.
Yeah.
Right. Do you know who Mark Tewksbury is?
Yes.
That's
Was
not
he
a real
pitcher?
name.
Pitcher for the. He's a baseball player, right? No.
He was our gold medal swimmer in the 90s. He's our Bodie Miller.
Yeah, that's not a
Canadian
real
swimmer.
name.
Yeah. Why did I? Boy, I feel like there's a baseball player named Tewksbury.
Yeah, there was.
Mark Tewksbury. Yeah, it's great.
Bob.
Or Cindy Lawman. Cindy Lawman.
Bob Tewksbury played for the Twins. Okay, we're off the rails. Next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or personal pickups. Troy, you got a beautiful
I've got
story.
nothing. Oh, I do got something. They're not hockey cards, but I did get Oasis tickets for next year. So, super pumped about that. That's the only thing I bought.
Yeah. You're my champagne supernova, Troy.
See, here's my thing. Quick Oasis rant. Don't listen to the radio stuff. The deeper cuts are where it's at. Those are way better songs.
Oh my God.
Don't get us copyright strike.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to charge my battery to my truck tomorrow? My headlight.
All right, Baba Louie, you got two, don't you? Did we get the pictures, Troy?
Yeah, we got them.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, sorry.
absolutely.
You're going to get a lot of noise here probably, but it's a 1920 stature green auto Madonna out of 65 to add to my other one.
Perfect hockey card, Louis. Perfect
I love
hockey
it.
card.
And then finally, since we're on this Pacific titanium private stock
Ooh.
thing, I jumped
Nice.
after an O2 Brodeur out of 131.
Nice.
Sexy,
Pretty sweet.
buddy. Real nice. Yeah,
There we
very
go.
sweet. Out of 131.
Yeah. Phil likes your cards. Imagine that.
Feel like I'm in a cloud.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Baba Louie. All right, guys. Holy moly. We made it. Sometimes just crossing the finish line is a victory in of itself. And I feel like that tonight. And if you like the episode, please leave a rating and review on Apple, Spotify, whatever.
But maybe
podcast
not.
app.
Maybe not this one.
Maybe not. There.
You know what? Just hold off till next week. You don't need to leave a review.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what editing does, what mastering does, and the 11,000 hours of editing we do. Maybe it'll turn out okay. We'll see. Maybe not. If you love the show, you want to support us, you want to chat with us on the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, please consider a $5 a month donation. Join our $1.99 support level tier on Patreon. Link is in the show description, in our Instagram, TikTok profile. You can search for Hockey Cards Gongshow on the Patreon website, patreon.com. And then finally on hockeycardsgongshow.com, there's a become a patron link at the top of the page. This dumpster fire is on social media. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And boys, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a production of Dogbox Ventures LLC. Stay tuned for Thursday, probably our biggest show